Chapter 21-. Afterwards, the two finished shopping for clothes, went shopping, and then found a restaurant to eat the most authentic food, which was undoubtedly a super enjoyment. As a famous supply island nearby, there are many merchant ships going from south to north, which also causes the supply of materials on this small island to be extremely rich, and there are all kinds of delicacies. Of course, the most local feature is undoubtedly the coconut feast. On this small island, the practice of coconuts is magnificent and imaginative, which makes Chin Luo marvel and enjoy it. Have you heard? The Krieg pirates seem to have suffered a big loss. Several pirate ships have been turned into broken sampans. When the words fell, everyone was shocked. It's not easy to get everyone's attention when it comes to the Krieg pirates. As a supply island, Bawel Island has ships from all directions, and the personnel are mixed, and the information is very well informed. As for the islanders, they are even more sensitive, which has become one of their survival instincts. Really, the Krieg pirates are the new East Blue overlords. Which pirates dare to provoke them? That is, I heard that not long ago, the Krieg pirates seem to have defeated a warship of the Marine 77 branch. Be careful, it's about the Krieg pirates. This kind of rumor can't be spread. They have mastered a lot of waterways, and our Will Island is among them. Maybe we have to pay taxes to them. Speaking of this, many people can't help but sigh. The prosperity of Bouvier Island is because of its unique geographical location. The suffering is also because of its unique geographical location. The Krieg pirates are now too powerful, and their tentacles have spread all over East Blue, and there is no possibility of resistance in a small place like Bawel Island. Maybe they have to make the Krieg pirates the emperor. Even if the Krieg pirates are insatiable and wantonly exploited, they can only choose to swallow it up. The diners were chattering about whether the discussion was heated or not, but most of them were skeptical. It's true or not, you must have listened to the rumors. Rumors? How could they be rumors? It's already been rumored. The crew members of the Krieg pirates were drifting with broken boards, and they saw so many people that they couldn't hide it. I heard that Admiral Krieg has summoned his subordinates to search for revenge. Sizzle. When the authenticity of the news was confirmed, all the diners took a deep breath. Does anyone really dare to break ground on Tai Sui? Is this gut too fat? Nami, who was enjoying the food, didn't expect to hear about Chin Luo's feat in the restaurant. If it is said that who knows the inside story the most, of course, Chin Luo and Nami are the two parties involved. When she heard that Admiral Krieg had begun to gather his subordinates and planned to seek revenge on Chin Luo, Nami couldn't help but start to panic. That is the overlord of East Blue, how much will his anger make waves? Nami couldn't help but secretly glanced at Chin Luo, only to see that Chin Luo should eat and drink, and he didn't care about the revenge of Admiral Krieg at all. Nami didn't know whether Chin Luo was really calm or pretended to be calm, but seeing Chin Luo so calm, the panic in her heart dissipated a lot. Which pirate group is it? How many ships were dispatched? How many people were there? An uncle couldn't help asking, and was very interested in the pirates who dared to be tough with the Krieg pirates. Everyone became curious. If the news is true, then the sea will undoubtedly undergo great turmoil again, and I don't know who the goddess of fate will favor. This. The insider, who was complacent just now because of everyone's attention, scratched the back of his head, feeling a little embarrassed. Don't hesitate, speak up. That is, which pirate group did it? This is too powerful. It must have been an earth-shattering sea battle. How many ships were dispatched? How many hours? It's a pity that there are no reporters to report. Insider was really stopped by the question, and said embarrassedly, I heard. It was done by one person. Puff. Many people who were drinking and watching the fun directly sprayed it out. You have to be more reliable in bragging. Yes. Everyone laughed, and contempt for the unreliable bragging. The well-informed guy was also a little embarrassed, and gulped a few gulps of draft beer. The only one who is still calm, I am afraid it is only Nami. At first, she was also frightened by Chin Luo's tricks. Now it seems that the impact of this incident is much greater than she imagined. There are really too many people in a mixed restaurant. Chatting and bragging, everyone is accustomed to it, and in a blink of an eye, the article is turned directly. We soon talked about other topics. The world is full of banquets, and the excitement is always short-lived. After resting for 2 days on Bouvier Island, after replenishing food and fresh water, the Blood Wolf set sail again. However, to everyone's surprise, the speed of the Blood Wolf that set sail again became abnormally slow. Not long ago, Nami, who was still acting like an arrow against the clock, turned into a salted fish. Before the supply of Bawel Island, Nami turned around the command of everyone on board. But now Nami is lying on the reclining chair, drinking coconut juice, and basking in the sun leisurely. This made everyone in the Blood Wolf Pirates look at each other. What kind of medicine is Nami selling in this gourd? This is too unpredictable, isn't it? Could it be that Lord Chin Luo warned Nami when he was on the island? But that's not right. Lord Chin Luo wouldn't have a hard time with money, would he? A woman's heart is a needle at the bottom of the sea. Chin Luo can probably guess one or two of Nami's thoughts. It is certain that he is distressed for money, and he is worried that Chin Luo will not be able to beat Arlong's, which is also of course. Arlong's brainwashing for so long was no joke. Nami can do everything, or spend a lot of money, carrying the hopes of the entire Kokoyashi village. Nami can't afford to lose. It's a little bit wrong. All her hard work and efforts over the past few years may have been in vain. Chin Luo can fully understand this. In terms of shortcomings, Nami has many more. Violence, greed for money, black belly, not ladylike enough. But in essence, Nami is a gentle, kind, strong and capable girl. As Sanji said, it is a man who can forgive a woman's lies. What's more, Nami never lied to him. No matter how fast she walks, or she walks slowly, it's actually just her own entanglement. The root cause of the entanglement was that Nami's attitude towards Chin Luo changed from hostile to friendly. Chin Luo should probably feel relieved. However, that's about it. For the current Nami, it is extremely insecure. Except for Nojiko, she has built a high heart wall for everyone. As for opening up to Chin Luo, the master, who has only known each other for a few days, that's even more impossible. It seems that there is a showdown with her. Chapter 22-. Night falls, the bright moon is in the sky, and the stars are dotted. The pirates were also drowsy. Chin Luo saw Nami alone on the boat, looking into the distance. The cold wind was blowing, with a sad look on her face, and she didn't know what she was thinking. If an ordinary man sees a woman so sad, he will definitely feel pain in his heart and gently ask her what happened. However, Chin Luo's attention was on the maid's uniform that Nami was wearing. The breeze was blowing, and there was a strange beauty. "Why, do you miss your hometown?" Chin Luo walked to her side and asked with a smile. Master. Nami turned her head away and wiped the tears from her face. She did think of Nojiko and Aunt Belmere just now, the good old days of her childhood. Nami. I can help you kill Arlong and free Kokoyashi village, but you have to grant me one request. Chin Luo didn't want to talk too much nonsense and went straight to the topic. Although Nami's attitude towards Chin Luo has risen these days, the progress is too slow. Chin Luo wanted to cut in quickly. The twisted melon was not sweet, but quenched his thirst. Nami was startled, and immediately came over. It turned out that Chin Luo already knew what she was thinking. That is to say, is Chin Luo's strength capable of defeating the Arlong pirates? In her eyes, the stars were shining brightly. Can you really beat Arlong? Really, more true than pearl, but you may agree to what I'm asking. Nami was nervous, wondering what Chin Luo would ask for. Tell me what it is. Get on my boat. In an instant, Nami's face was as red as the sunset. Is it so direct? Although you are strong, you are handsome, and you are rich, you can't be like this. Qinluo flicked her head and said, what are you thinking? I mean, get on my ship, be my navigator, and be my maid at the same time, for a period of 1 year. With the scumbag's sweet words, he didn't believe that a year was not enough to take Nami down. That's it. When Nami said this, she swore that there was absolutely no provocative intention, but she was very puzzled. Oh, don't you have other ideas? Qinluo curled his lips into Isho. The distance between the two is quite close, just a few feet away. Nami's lips were like cherries, with red teeth and red lips. No, no, Nami turned her head away, unable to bear Qinluo's affectionate words. Since you say that, I'll take it as your agreement. There is no need to limit the speed of the ship, leave it to me, and I will take care of the Arlong pirates. After speaking, Qinluo turned around and left. On the boat, Nami was left alone again, looking up at Haoyu. Her eyes were no longer hesitant and dark, but a glimmer of hope. Not to be your navigator, to be your maid. The 1-year deadline will soon pass, and I will leave when the time comes. You, the dignified king of the new world, can't speak well, right? Nami thought so. But a year later, she was the only one who knew whether she would leave or stay. Many days later, Qinluo and the others arrived at a small island again. And bought the next pirate ship on this small island that was even more high-end than the Blood Wolf. Moreover, Qinluo deliberately inlaid going and gems in front of the bow of the boat, which shines particularly brightly in the sun. The shape of the ship, the structure of the appearance, is like a thunderbolt from the sky, and the ship is inlaid with going and gems in all directions. When she saw this local tyrant ship, Nami's eyes sparkled, and she suddenly couldn't move her eyes away. As for the other pirates, they were completely stunned at this time. To put going and gemstones on the boat. With all this money, is it enough to build a fleet? Even Morioka Hayabusa couldn't help but be shocked. This big brother is so rich. No wonder they look down on their property. It's called Thor. Qinluo said with a smile. Thor. Nami and the others were shocked, calling themselves gods. How strong this guy's self-confidence is. Passing over the 4 emperors of the New World and directly conferred a god. Qinluo, Falcon Morioka, you can go now. Brother, this is... Morioka Hayabusa couldn't guess what Qinluo meant. He didn't know if he was really letting them go, or if he was testing them. It can be said that these days, the Blood Wolf pirates are indeed living under the strong shadow of Qinluo. Worrying about whether Qinluo would use them up, a thunderbolt smashed them into pieces and scorched them into ashes. Bum, don't let me see you. If I see you next time, I won't be like today. Qinluo waved his hand and motioned for them to leave quickly by boat. Note that these days, Falcon Morrigan was next to him, madly acting like a dog, and blurting out good words in pairs, making Qinluo embarrassed to kill them. Its eldest brother, that wealth. Morioka Hayabusa asked cautiously. Damn, you want to see the king of hell, don't you? Qinluo grieved Isho. Maybe it was because Nami looked like a miser recently, which made him feel that if you put money in his pocket, don't even think about taking it out. Morioka Hayabusa trembled in fright. Go right away. Boarded the Blood Wolf, fled, and drove in the opposite direction of Kokoyashi village. Qinluo also boarded Thor with Nami. How long will it take to go to Kokoyashi village? Nami hurriedly determined the location and said with a smile, it's half a day to reach Kokoyashi village. Qinluo nodded, let's let the first stop of Thor start from Kokoyashi village. Hear Qinluo's words. Nami was so excited that she couldn't be more excited. Has the hope of many years finally come true? Kokoyashi village was saved this time. Nami was agitated, looking at the increasingly familiar waterway. Her pride did not increase much, but instead gave birth to a kind of nostalgia that is, closer to nostalgia and more timid. Master, I'm going back to the village soon, can I stop wearing this maid outfit? Nami folded her hands together, her big eyes blinked, watery, and she looked weak, helpless and pitiful. Chin Luo smiled. Nami, this little girl, has a really outstanding ability to observe words and expressions, which really pinpoints his temperament. Prescribe the right medicine, it is getting more and more accurate. But Chin Luo just eats this one. In fact, Chin Luo can fully understand Nami's mind, not only Nami, but everyone in the world. Even if he was a dog when he was outside, he still dressed himself up like a man when he returned to his hometown. Simple and realistic. Chin Luo stretched out his hand and rubbed Nami's head. Go, the savior of Kokoyasi village. Chapter 23-. Nami's face blushed first, then she was overjoyed. After thanking her, she ran into her dressing room in a flash. Half an hour later, Nami, who was dressed up, came out again. In an instant. The luxurious Thor seems to have been compared to Nami, who was dressed up. An elegant tight-fitting dress showcases Nami's curvaceous figure to the fullest, and matching it with appropriate jewelry makes Nami look even more luxurious. At this moment, she seems to have become a princess who has returned home, not a thief who has returned with a reward but is wounded. Chin Luo was a little surprised by Nami's beauty after she dressed up. Evening. Nami suddenly said excitedly, "Here, Kokoyasi village is in front." Chin Luo followed the prestige and immediately saw a large island behind several small islands and reefs. The very impressive thing about this island is the very tall tower-shaped buildings. Looking from a distance, there are many windmills swaying, the smell of the sea breeze, and the smell of oranges. In an orange orchard, every orange tree here is full of fist-sized oranges, full of fragrance. When the Thor that Chin Luo was driving came to Arlong Paradise, the Arlong group finally saw Chin Luo and others coming. In an instant, the entire Arlong Paradise was excited. This ship full of glowing gemstones is heading towards them. Isn't this courting death? Arlong, belonging to the serrated shark fishman, is 2.6 meters tall, with dark blue skin, sharp teeth, and a long serrated nose, as hard as steel. Coupled with the chunks of muscle like steel ingots all over his body, the large scarlet tattoos branded on his chest and arms. It gives people an unimaginable sense of oppression, and is even called, the worst man in East Blue. But from this title, it can also be seen that in general, Arlong is the worst, rather than the strongest. Although Arlong has always claimed that Fishman is a higher race, in fact, he has always been very inferior. Every day he shouts about establishing an Arlong Empire, to rule all mankind, etc., but in fact the biggest achievement is to become the village hegemon. The Arlong Empire in Arlong's mouth is essentially Kokoyasi village and several surrounding villages. What he did was to forcibly collect protection fees from the villagers. That's it, there is also a Taishengwang, Colonel Mouse. Not only Arlong, but the cadres of the Arlong pirates also gathered here. Don't look at them as kings in Kokoyasi village, but in the Great Route, they are really nothing. At this moment, the pirates of the Arlong pirates suddenly shrank their eyes. Hachi said in surprise, "Look, Nami, that's Nami in that pretty dress, right?" Hearing Hachi's words, everyone in the Arlong pirates looked towards the Thor. Immediately, everyone from the Arlong pirates saw Nami standing in front of her. The pupils of the entire Arlong pirate group shrank. Standing on the treasure ship, Nami in gorgeous clothes is really so dazzling. Make them even feel ashamed of themselves. The moment Nami saw Arlong, Vivi trembled in her heart, but with Chin Luo's gaze, her delicate body also calmed down. "Nami, are you giving me a treasure?" Arlong gave a sinister smile, his head held high, arrogantly shouting. "Go!" A large wave of pirates rushed towards Chin Luo's Thor. "Die!" This sound transmission resounded in the minds of those pirates like a thunderbolt, and a violent thunder and lightning aura spread over the sea area of the radius of 1,000 meters, making them tremble. At this moment, Chin Luo's eyes were as bright as stars, and the thunder and lightning all over his body were like mad dragons, slamming towards them. Boom! The golden thunder and lightning finally slammed into the place where thousands of pirates were densely packed. Boom! With a loud bang, the location of the bombardment suddenly became filled with smoke and dust, and strong energy fluctuations erupted. Instantly annihilated all creatures within 30 meters. I saw a large number of thousands of pirates, and the stumps had been bombed into the sky, and they splashed around. In an instant, this gang of pirates collapsed. There were rows of corpses all around, blood flowing into rivers. A feeling of fear spread among the Arlong pirates. When some pirates start to retreat, more people are also retreating subconsciously. Fear is contagious. Closer to their Thor, Arlong's face froze and he launched an artillery attack. The cannonball flickered with a cold light, aiming at Chin Luo and ready to go. Bang bang bang. 10 huge cannonballs shot out, instantly tearing the ripples of the sea, making a breathtaking sound. How powerful is the giant cannonball? Launch it and even destroy the city walls. And now, the target of 10 giant shells. The giant shells were not used to attack ships, but to kill people. Such a scene has never happened since ancient times, and it will be rare to see it in the future. Giant cannonballs are extremely fast. And Chin Luo maintained his forward momentum, and almost instantly, the giant cannonball was shot in front of Chin Luo. The giant cannonballs gathered together, like a sky-piercing stone pillar rushing over, with a terrifying momentum. Chin Luo's expression froze, he exhaled, and with the help of the power of thunder and lightning, he floated up into the air. There was a faint sound from the bones in his body, the muscles trembled, and the sound of the bowstring trembled. The muscles all over the body were tied together, and the figure seemed to grow in a circle. Break it for me. Chin Luo's palms condensed a large ball of lightning and light, which was raised high and slammed heavily on the giant cannonball. Boom! With an earth-shattering loud noise, sparks splashed. The giant cannonball was bombarded and broken by the lightning ball condensed by Chin Luo, scattered in the water, and floated away. The powerful stamina force almost made the sea area in the middle split into 2 halves, surging away in all directions. Hiss! When Arlong and the others saw this scene, their pupils instantly shrank into needles, and they gasped. Doesn't that hurt him? Who is this person? I don't have time to play with you guys. Chin Luo swiped his body lightly, and the pirates in front were so frightened that they turned pale. His speed, like rakage, had already rushed to the front, without giving them a chance at all. Boom, boom, boom. Blood light flashed frequently, and no pirate could block Chin Luo's punch. The hardness of the thunder armor, coupled with the covering of armament hockey, his fists, not ordinary pirates, can resist. 1 punch and 1 pirate head. The thrill of the explosion grew out of Chin Luo's heart. Not enough. Chin Luo looked up to the sky and laughed loudly, showing his madness, just like the Tai Sui god in the world. Killing God all the way is understandable. Chin Luo's eyes were deep, and he stood with his hands behind his back, stepping on the board. Arlong looked at this disgusting face. To be precise, any human face, he is disgusted from the bottom of his heart. He narrowed his eyes were sharp, and he looked at Chin Luo's face carefully. Arlong finally looked at Chin Luo and said coldly, "Who are you, kid?" Chapter 24 At the same time, Arlong's mind recalled a list that Colonel Mouse gave him that he couldn't provoke, otherwise he would no longer be able to hide the fact that Arlong was doing a lot of evil, but there didn't seem to be Chin Luo's label on the list. I'm your father, and I really feel ashamed of Fisher Tiger. Such a righteous fish-man hero turned out to be a scum like you. Chin Luo said in disdain. Boy, you are not qualified to mention Tiger's name. Arlong's face was furious, and the sharp tip of the fish became unusually sharp. Arlong is one of the representatives of the Fishman family who hates human beings, and Arlong, who witnessed Tiger's death, may have completely carried the devil's side in Tiger's heart since then. If it was said that he was only malicious towards mankind in the past, then it has completely transformed into hatred that cannot be reconciled. Really, Then let the horse come over. Chin luo he isho. As soon as the words fell, Arlong held his big saw blade. Zanfang, his figure flashed, and the impact came at an extremely fast speed. Bang! Chin luo's armament covered his feet and kicked out, resisting Arlong's blow. A doflamingo taste. That's it. Chin luo sneered. Go to hell. With an angry shout from Arlong, he unleashed a shark arrow and slammed violently. Om! A strong force, without wind, spreads out. Chin luo turned into a sharp blade, held it in his hand, and swiftly cut Arlong's big saw blade, Zanfang, in half, at the same time knocking Arlong out. Bang! Arlong fell 100 meters away, vomiting blood, looking depressed and horrified. Base! The sharp blade transformed by thunder and lightning suddenly attacked, hitting Arlong's throat. As long as Arlong has the slightest change, the blade will not hesitate to pierce his throat. On the deck, Nami was stunned. The Arlongs were a nightmare that had haunted her for 7 years, and she was almost crushed. But she never thought that she would be beaten down so easily. Too simple, really too simple. Simple enough to make Nami wonder if she was dreaming. When she got off the boat and came to Arlong, she completely realized that all this was true. Another place was struck by lightning and scarred Hachi, which was unbelievable and incomprehensible. Why, Nami, what the hell are you doing? You are the cadre of our Arlong gang. We have been together for the past few years, and we have been very happy. Hachi's words immediately made Nami angry. Nami said angrily, happy? You told me to be happy. Only a fool like you would be so stupid. You can ask if Kokoyashi village and the villagers who are ruled and exploited by you are happy. Speaking of anger, Nami even took out a musket directly from her waist, and the muzzle was firmly on Arlong's forehead. Arlong. Tears were streaming down Nami's face, and the hand holding the musket even trembled uncontrollably. Do you remember? That's how you killed Belmir with a gun. Feeling the cold coming from the gun, Arlong didn't feel scared, instead he laughed. Belmir, which one are you talking about? I've killed too many people, I've killed too much. If you want to kill them, don't give a damn. Arlong's unrepentant words deeply stimulated Nami's sensitive nerves, and her body trembled even more violently. She never imagined that Arlong, the executioner who killed Belmir, had no remorse at all. Boom! A gunshot rang out, and a tongue of flame rushed out from the muzzle of the flintlock gun. Arlong's body suddenly burst with blood. Nami she shot. However, she was kind-hearted, the muzzle shifted, and the bullet didn't hit Arlong's vitals. A burst of pain hit Arlong, who was already seriously injured, but Arlong's face became more wanton with a smile. Nami, you're still as soft-hearted as ever. You know what? Even if you save 100 million Baileys, I won't let such a powerful navigator leave. I have made a plan. As long as you are about to save up 100 million Baileys, I will contact Colonel Mouse, rob you of your money, and let you save again. Ha 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 ha. Arlong's wanton and reckless laughter resounded throughout the Arlong paradise. The extremely angry Nami pulled the trigger one after another. Arlong's body exploded with blood flowers after another. It wasn't until all the bullets were fired that Nami stopped. Arlong's 7 orifices, who fell to the ground, were bleeding, but the smile on his face was even more evil. If you dare to touch me, Marine will not let you go. Arlong's life at this time was gradually coming to an end. It can be shot so many times, and it can still talk, which can be said to be the reason for the Fishman Constitution. Colonel Mouse, Marine Division 16 Colonel. This person is not a good person either. He has done a lot of despicable actions in the name of Marine. He has colluded with Arlong's group of shameless Marine scumbags to oppress the people. He is often bribed by Arlong. But in fact he couldn't control it either. With his power, Arlong's annihilation was just a matter of fingers. Arlong is relying on the Marine forces behind Colonel Mouse. PFF'd. Chinluo's lightning blade was like a flash of lightning, and Arlong's eyes suddenly widened. A sound like chopping melons and vegetables sounded, and Arlong's head was immediately chopped off by Muya, and fear and confusion were forever fixed on Arlong's face. The paper tiger, who is used to bullying the weak, bullies Nami, a little girl who looks vicious but is actually kind-hearted. Thunderblade chopped off Arlong's head without hesitation. It really comes from the Fishman clan, and they don't forget to threaten others even when they die. So you want to go to the west? After finishing the remaining pirates, Nami was still immersed in the scene of shooting Arlong just now. The repression of these years seems to have been completely released under the shooting of the musket just now. Chinluo walked up to Nami and said softly, "It's okay, it's over." Seeing Chinluo's gentle smile, Nami's heart suddenly melted. She couldn't bear it any longer, and immediately threw herself into Chinluo's arms and cried out loudly. Over the years, Nami has suffered too many grievances. When she vented this time, it was a big collapse and a big break. For a moment, Nami's earth-shattering cry came from all around. Fishman Hachi's face was complicated, and the bombardment of lightning had completely destroyed his internal organs. With a breath left, she just wanted to question Nami. Unexpectedly, this is the result. It fell in a pool of blood and recalled the time on Fishman Island, although it was short, but very happy. Chapter 25_. Host, Chinluo. Current characters in the heavens, Thor. When going degree bar, %. Character, Thor Rey. Chance to draw characters from the heavens, 0. Hockey, armament hockey. Forbearance fighting technique, Armor of Thunder Escape LV2. Defeating Arlong, the progress bar of Chinluo's possessed character rose by 2 or 3 points. Fast as Enel. Main reason is that Arlong's strength is too weak, and it can increase by 2 or 3 points. 20 minutes later, all these pirate corpses were cleaned up. Chinluo also took advantage of the situation to scavenge a wave of Arlong paradise, and pocketed all the wealth here. Nami's mood has also stabilized a lot. She wants to tell the good news to her sister Nojiko and the villagers of Kokoyashi village. At this moment, they are truly free. Later, Nami took Chinluo to an orange orchard. "Master, the oranges here are very fragrant, you can taste them." Nami picked a fresh orange and handed it to Chinluo. Chinluo took it. He didn't even need to peel it. He took a bite. The fresh and tender orange surprised him. It was really good. Nami. At this moment, a figure walked out of the orange garden's room. Hear the sound and look. A girl with dark blue short hair, petite and cute, can recognize the other party's identity almost at a glance. Nojiko, Nami's older sister, and Nami are the same battlefield orphans. They were adopted by Belmere and have been guarding Belmere's orangery. It's pretty. If possible, I'd really like to have both sisters. Chinluo murmured to himself in his heart, "Sister Flower Maid, this treatment is very much like the master of Rem and Ram." But he thought, Nojiko should not go on adventures with him, she just wanted to be with him, the guardian of Belmere's orangery. "Sister." Nami was overjoyed and ran over to tell what happened just now. The Arlong pirates were destroyed and Kokoyashi village was freed. As well as the encounter with Chinluo, they are also told. However, Nami didn't say that she wanted to be Chinluo's maid for 1 year, she was really ashamed to say it. Nojiko smiled when he heard that Arlong was wiped out and the villagers were freed. This day has finally come. My name is Nojiko and thank you for everything you do for Kokoyashi village. Nojiko walked to Chinluo and bowed to show his gratitude. You're welcome, I'm not a righteous marine, I just have reasons not to kill the Arlong pirates. Chinluo gently issued and gave Nami a teasing look. Nami blushed. Anyway, Mr. Chinluo, please stay at Kokoyashi village for 1 night, and let us clean up the dust for you. Nojiko said with a cheerful smile. Since she was occupied by the Arlong pirates, the enormous pressure made her unhappy every day. Okay. Chin Luo nodded. Soon, Nami destroyed the Arlong pirates, and the news of Kokoyashi village's restoration of freedom was notified to the whole village. The whole village, from the disbelief and doubt at the beginning, to Nami's solemn admission, and then seeing with their own eyes the bodies of those Arlong pirates who were destroyed, all buried in the ground, they were truly freed. At dinner. Chin Luo, thank you again for saving Kokoyashi village. Nami and Nojiko raised their glasses and thanked Chin Luo. Yeah, Chin Luo took a sip after clinking glasses with them. That's good, that's good. Nojiko is also a cheerful person, all thanks are in the wine. The delicious and tender sashimi on the table is also very rich in variety. Tuna, sea fish, sea bream, flounder, plaice, salmon, bonito, etc., are all high-quality sashimi materials. As for sashimi, Chin Luo has always had the idea that eating raw fish would be unsanitary. And without any cooking treatments such as frying, steaming, etc., the sashimi is eaten directly. Chin Luo had a hint of rejection in his heart and doubted in his heart. Shouldn't this kind of raw food have a lot of bacteria in it? Wouldn't it damage the body? But in reality, that's not quite the case. First of all, the nutrient content of sashimi itself is very high, and it has not undergone any cooking methods such as frying, steaming, and frying, so its original nutrients are not lost. If there are so many bacteria, it is estimated that the number of people in this area will have to be reduced by more than half. Lord, Chin Luo, it's delicious, you can eat a piece, it's really good. In front of Nojiko, Nami asked Chin Luo if she could call him Chin Luo, otherwise it would be too embarrassing to call the master. Well, since you said so, Nami. Then I'll try it reluctantly. If it doesn't taste good, don't blame me for spitting it out and wasting food. But, you have to remember, I'm just giving you face. Chin Luo picked up a piece of sashimi, dipped it in the sauce, and sent it into his mouth, soft and crunchy. In an exaggerated way, the melt-in-your-mouth feeling. It tastes really good. What bacteria, unsanitary or something? Oops, it's so delicious. Really fragrant theorem. Proposed by the famous Master Wang, when he asserts that he rejects someone or something, and declares that he will never do something even if the body dies without ingesting nutrients, or if a fall from a height causes physical death, he must be making the following sound for some reason. Really incense. Looking at Chin Luo eating food, Nami Yanran Isho is really a fickle man. Guest, here comes the food. At this time, the table was already full of food, but in order to repay Chin Luo for saving the village, the villagers served many dishes as supplements, such as soba noodles, Japanese rice balls, beef rice, tempura, sushi and other foods. When he got to the dining table, Chin Luo, who had already eaten half full, felt a lot of empty stomach again. This evening, the people of Kokoyashi village had a great time. Perhaps, after tonight, there will be a better tomorrow. To this end, under the enthusiasm of everyone, Chin Luo also drank a little wine. This wine is nothing to him. But today, feeling a little sleepy, he went to bed early. On the beach, Nami and Nojiko are enjoying the cool breeze and talking about today's events. Nami, are you going to sail? Nojiko asked in surprise. Nami-jung nodded. Not only the promise with Chin Luo, but also she should live for herself. Kokoyashi village is free, and Nami should embark on her own journey. When she was with Chin Luo would tell her what she saw in the new world, which filled her heart with curiosity and expectation. Sanami's heart has already made a decision. She wants to board Chin Luo's ship and become the best navigator in the new world. Nami, don't you like Mr. Chin Luo? Nojiko rubbed Nami's head like a child. Nami blushed. Immediately, she also reacted, knowing that Nojiko was teasing her, and shyly replied, "What are you thinking?" "No. I guessed it right, ha ha ha, our Nami likes Mr. Chin Luo." Nojiko jumped from the beach and ran along the beach, shouting loudly. The smiles on their faces, like lilies in buds, are very happy. This may be the pressure they have been carrying over the years, completely unloaded. What nonsense, sister, don't talk nonsense. Seeing Nojiko so bold, the blush on Nami's face became even more vivid. The bright moon reflects the earth, and the stars adorn everything. The two women were frolicking in the sea. Sister, if you want to say that I like Chinluo, then you also like him. What? If you say so, in the future we will marry Chinluo and let him protect us, okay? Idiot, what's going on in your head? A man can only be with a woman. But I read in the book that a strong man can have many women, and use his powerful ability to protect women and prevent the bad guys from succeeding, isn't it better? Bang! Nojiko punched her in the head. Which book? Hand it over and burn it. I've finished reading that book. Quote. Chapter 26_. In the morning, the breeze was breezy, a soft mist rose by the river, the mountains were painted with a soft milky white, and the white mist rendered everything hazy and psychedelic. Chinluo and Nami board the Thor. Under the eyes of the crowd, he drove into the distance. Nami's eyes were filled with reluctance. This time, it was not a simple sailing to steal treasures, but a journey toward a great route. It may be years before I can go back here. Nami. Well, since you've become my navigator, then half of my wealth will be handed over to you and managed on your behalf. I saw that Chinluo was not stingy, took out a large portion of going, and Nami's eyes lit up. Nami hesitated in her heart, but still asked, aren't you afraid that I will run away with the money? Chinluo stepped forward and gently lifted her chin. Don't worry, my maid, no matter where you go, I will find you, you can't escape from my Wujishin. Of course, if you encounter an accident and become a corpse, I will cut off every inch of your bone, put it in the crematorium, burn it into ashes, and then make a beautiful soup. Nami covered her head, her face turning pale with fright. You are the devil. The dead are not spared. Chinluo sneered at Isho, stroked her hair, and said solemnly, of course, the most important thing is that I trust you. How do you say these words? Why do you want to vomit? Sweet words, but the unique attack of the scumbag. Not necessarily, but don't believe me like that. Nami turned her head and pretended not to care, but she still felt warm inside. It feels really good to be trusted. Chinluo shook his head, smiled and said in his heart, I knew that it would be difficult for Nami, a thief, to change her nature. At this time, do. There was a sound of ship chirping, and the seagulls flew into the sky. Pirates, you have been surrounded, put down your weapons and capture them. Marine ship floated not far away, with the flag of justice on its flagship. Chinluo glanced around and saw a familiar figure. Colonel Mouse, Chinluo said with a playful smile. The Captain Mouse of Marine's 16th Division has 3 slender hairs on the left and right sides of the beard, which looks like a mouse. A few minutes ago, Colonel Mouse heard his subordinates say that there was an unknown ship ahead. When he looked through the telescope, he found a lot of going wealth on the ship, and his eyes lit up immediately. At first I thought it was from the Arlong pirates, but there was no Arlong flagship logo on the ship. Therefore, it is concluded that this ship is only for the common people. That being the case, Colonel Mouse intends to do it all the time, defining Chinluo and others as pirates, and taking the opportunity to seize the pile of wealth. The mouse went to Kokoyashi village this time to collect dirty money from the Arlong pirates, but he didn't expect to meet Chinluo. Thunder God is shining. In an instant, Chinluo struck the marine ship with an electric shock like a thunder dragon, with a strong and sharp momentum. The sky exploded, the sea water gushed out, and 2 water columns 300 feet thick rose up into the sky. At this moment, it seems that heaven and earth have stopped, and the sound has completely disappeared. This lightning strike seemed to be like a heavy rain falling violently. With the power to bombard everything, the marine battleship was completely bombarded into smithereens. After an instant, it seemed that the world was back in motion again. Boom! The marine soldiers on the marine battleship were all buried in the sea in the blood rush. The shattered battleship also crashed into the sea. One strike. Just one hit. Killed them all. Nami's eyes were full of shock. It seems that against Arlong, Qinluo did not use his real strength. A certain sea area in East Blue. The leader of the Krieg pirates, Admiral Krieg, felt very bad. Not long ago, Qinluo destroyed several ships, and he was so angry that he wanted to seek revenge for Qinluo. But he got the news that Qinluo destroyed the Arlong pirates with one person. Immediately, he was a little conscientious, but as the leading big brother, East Blue overlord, whom everyone admires, all the pirates in East Blue are watching. This makes Admiral Krieg even want to be an ostrich. However, Admiral Krieg is cunning, and the style of the pirate group is also famous for its number and military strength. This gives the Krieg pirates more options than other pirates. Thinking of Qinluo's strength, it's just hearsay, and I haven't really experienced it. So boldly, Krieg gave an order, and the entire pirate group began to mobilize. The sea water is sparkling, and when the sun shines on the sea, it is like throwing gold into the sea. It is extremely beautiful and clear. Qinluo sat on the sofa on the boat board with a contented face and asked, "Nami, we can go to the New World this time. You are right about the route. Of course, I also deliberately planned to sail along the route close to the windless belt, just in time to take advantage of the natural power of the current around the East Blue. By taking this route, I believe that our journey to the New World will be greatly shortened." Nami proudly smiled and said that sailing has always been her strength. Just wearing this maid outfit makes her look less haughty. Qinluo's bad taste made Nami speechless. "As expected of you," Qinluo smiled. "The route is close to the windless zone, where the winds are fickle and the weather changes. If the ship is not careful, it will be pushed by the wind and waves to the dead Jedi calm belt to feed the Sea Kings. There is no extremely advanced knowledge of meteorology and oceanography as a basis. Ordinary navigators did not dare to take the risk of taking the fleet on that route. Of course. I'm the best navigator in East Blue." Miss Nami accepted Qinluo's praise without any humility. Before she could sell herself and boast, Qinluo was pulled in front of her and sat on his lap. Nami was taken aback, and the distance between the two became very close. Qinluo stared at her as if he was looking at a carefully carved toy. Pretty as a peach in 3 springs, as pure as a chrysanthemum in 9 autumns, and the corners of her brows and eyes are all delicate, and every move is gentle and virtuous. Beautiful. This is a compliment to Nami. Her facial features are as delicate as a work of art, and those bright eyes seem to be the most beautiful black gems in the world, purifying the soul. Qinluo looked at Nami's beautiful face, with admiration, greed, and more tenderness in his eyes. "Any reward you want, just say it." Chapter 27 Looking at Nami in front of him, Qinluo curled his lips. "Isho. This kind of voice is really very magnetic, very deep, very gentle, with a little hockey in it. If an ordinary girl heard this voice, it would definitely go straight to her heart. It was so sweet. It can make people fall into it in an instant, and think about it." "Let go of me," Nami said angrily. "Shish, don't talk, just look at the scenery," Qinluo asked with a chuckle. "Bah." Nami turned her head in disdain. "You fuck off." The remaining half of the words were suddenly stuck in his throat. Because of a berry check, it was swaying leisurely in front of Nami. "That's today's fee," Qinluo said without changing his face. "Of course, if you don't want it, I won't force it." Nami hesitated for a moment, and a lovely smile immediately bloomed on her face. "Of course, no problem, my lord." "Lord." Nami took the check quietly, and hid it in her 4-dimensional pocket, with lightning speed. Although Qinluo gave her a lot of going gems before, she believed that it would never be hers. At that time, Nami also wanted to have her own small treasury, so she could only be a humble maid and earn money by working part-time. Chin Luo smiled and said nothing. The two of them were quietly blowing the cool breeze. It would be nice if they had a luxurious big bed on the board. In this way, you can be fair and open, and do some things that adults will do. Really take the sky as the quilt and the earth as the seat. ... On this day, Thor encountered a large wave of enemies. It seems to have entered the territory of the Krieg pirates. Scene was really spectacular. The dozens of pirate ships of the Krieg pirates gave Nami unimaginable pressure. The deterrence of nearly 50 ships is quite exaggerated. In particular, the 50 ships formed a tight encirclement network, like a moving military fortress. The black hole of the muzzle gave everyone an unimaginable shock. Caliber is justice, range is truth, this is really not a joke. Even with the sturdiness of the Thor, if it was hit by so many pirate ships at the same time, I am afraid it would sink in minutes. As for Nami, her face turned pale at this time. But she still chooses to believe Chin Luo. This day will come sooner or later. Thor, continue to move forward, Chin Luo is indifferent. Soon, the two are getting closer and closer, and it is even more obvious. Going in gemstones inlaid on the Thor, all the pirates of the Krieg pirates became crazy. Money, a lot of money. Jewel, so dazzling. All the pirates' eyes were locked on the slowly moving Thor. Even the cadres such as Admiral Krieg, Mandemon Jin, Tibiba, Idiman, and Haslu have their eyes burning. At this time, their blood was boiling with enthusiasm, and they could not wait to scream in the sky immediately. This person who thought he had destroyed the Arlong pirates was really arrogant, but he deserved to be surrounded and swallowed alive by them. Admiral Krieg didn't even mean to gossip with Chin Luo. Fire! Following the command to fire, all the pirate ships of the Krieg pirates began to adjust the muzzles in unison. Seeing those dozens of pirate ships adjusting their muzzles at the same time, the mental pressure it caused was unimaginable. Boom boom boom. With the roar of the artillery, dozens of pirate ships and thousands of cannons fired at the same time. In an instant, one by one, the black and incomparably huge shells all smashed at the Thor. For a moment, the cannonballs rained, making Nami feel suffocated. But at this moment, everyone saw Chin Luo, who was standing in the most conspicuous position on the deck, move. Everyone only saw that Chin Luo slowly stretched out his hand. He held it with one hand, as if lifting the sky. In an instant, time and space seemed to freeze. The densely packed cannonballs, like a meteor shower, hovered one by one. Everyone was stunned, and their eyes almost didn't bulge out. This is what? Everyone in the Krieg pirates was also shocked. The cadres of the pirates jumped up directly from their seats, each with beads of sweat oozing from their foreheads. At this moment, a voice sounded in everyone's heart. Die! Whoosh whoosh. With the sound of cannonballs rubbing against the air, everyone stupidly discovered that the cannonballs that had just been lifted up by Chin Luo had all returned to the same path. It was clearly controlled by Chin Luo with the ability of lightning, but the speed of the shells was faster than the speed of the shells. I don't know how many shells it even created a sonic boom cloud. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang. Everyone was shocked to discover that the dozens of pirate ships of the Krieg pirates suffered fatal blows at the same time. On the pirate ship, big explosions occurred everywhere because of the impact of the shells. For a while, on every pirate ship, a terrifying shock wave was generated because of the big explosion. The pirate ship was either burned or destroyed, and a large number of pirates were blown up immediately and sank to the bottom of the sea. For a while, there were fires everywhere. As far as the eye can see, there are all the wreckage of the blown-up ship and the swarming human heads. Because the explosion was too sudden, a large number of pirates were seriously injured, bleeding and drifting, and even the sea was dyed red. As for the screams of the pirates, it was even more terrifying. Here, for a while, it even became hell on earth. Above Thor. Although Nami had been shocked countless times, the sight in front of her still shocked her. A little dumbfounded, you can hear the needle drop for a while. As for Admiral Krieg and those cadres, they only felt their eyes turn black at this time, and they almost fainted from fright. Who the hell did they bump into? At the click of a finger, it directly destroyed all the wealth that their pirate group had saved for more than 10 years. Devil, devil! With a flick of a finger, more than 40 ships vanished into ashes, which is nothing short of a fantasy. The eyes are full of fire, the ears are full of mourning. Even if it is personal experience, everyone still has a feeling of dreaming. The rest of the pirates couldn't help but look at Chin Luo, who was still standing on the deck, and they respected Chin Luo for a while. Where did Chin Luo's monster come from? This is too strong to be outrageous. He is obviously just a young man, but his strength is so unfathomable. The Krieg pirates were attacked by Chin Luo, shattering their energy and falling apart. All the pirates were even more afraid of Chin Luo. Not to mention the ordinary gangsters of the pirates, even the cadres were all lost in confusion and panic. Immediately after that, there was a panic-stricken escape, like a tree falling and a hosen scattered, a wall falling and everyone pushing. Going. Chin Luo seemed to have done a fairly simple thing. Using thunder and lightning as the driving force, Nami immediately accelerated forward. The next day, when the latest, East Blue Daily, was published, it was like a thunderstorm that resounded in the hearts of all pirates. The Great Route, the New World, may still feel a little far away. But the entire East Blue was completely shaken, and it is no exaggeration to describe it as the sky collapsed. 40 or 50 pirate ships of the Krieg pirates with one blow made Chin Luo the uncrowned king of the entire East Blue. For a while, the pirates of East Blue are panicking. As for the common people, they didn't believe it at first. But when I saw that more and more newspapers began to report Chin Luo's deeds, I don't know how many ordinary people were excited, and they became Chin Luo's loyal supporters. Is this young man a pirate, a marine, or a free bounty hunter? However, it doesn't matter. This sea has always been a stage for the strong to compete, and all the legends are also the legends of the strong. And the weak can only go with the flow and resign themselves to fate. In essence, Chin Luo's legends are no different from those of the strong, they all rely on powerful force as their backing. Chapter 28_. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden task, obtaining the title of East Blue Overlord, although the name is not true. Rewarding Observation Hockey and Conqueror Hockey. The progress bar has reached 80%, and the number of lottery draws for unlocking the characters of the heavens 1. Chin Luo's eyes lit up, but he didn't expect to destroy the Krieg pirates and this hidden mission. Not only the most unique conqueror in hockey, but also the number of lottery draws for characters in the heavens 1. Host, Chin Luo. Current characters in the heavens, Thor. When going bar, 80%. Character, Thor Rey. Characters of the heavens draw chance, 1. Hockey, Armament Hockey, Conqueror Hakilv 1, Observation Hockey. Forbearance Fighting Technique, Armor of Thunder Escape LV2. System, let's extract it. Ding, the characters of the heavens are being drawn. As the system's words fell, a 3D screen appeared again in Chin Luo's mind, and countless figures flew past. Finally, a white-haired man appeared on the 3D screen, with scattered white hair, which made him look a bit amazing. Wearing strange clothes, with a forehead guard, a knife in one hand, and an iron chain in the other, the whole person looks very evil and charming. Not only that, but behind it, there were also 5 strange figures vaguely appearing. First, the eyes were blood red, the furious blood almost covered the whole body, and the right hand was like the hand of a blood demon, mad. Second, holding a sword, like a shadow soul, as fast as light and shadow. Third, the forehead covers half of his eyes, his long white hair is like a needle, and the sword in his hand renders blue lightning. Fourth, loosen the iron chain wrapped around the arm, and there is a purple ghostly aura surging around the body, which makes people look straight, and the first impression is that the back is cold. Fifth, a figure like a man-demon, with a bloodless body, bloodless ghost hands, and a lifeless appearance like a ghost walking in the world, non-human and non-ghost, like a ghostly shadow. In the world, what they have in common is that they all have white hair. This DNF Ghost Swordsman exclusive template. Burzee Warrior, Sword Soul, Ashura, Devil May Cry, Sword Shadow. Chin Luo exclaimed. The 5 forms can be switched at will, and in battle, it is more like a sword god. Obtain the possessed character, DNF Ghost Swordsman. The progress bar reaches 60%, the higher the progress bar, the stronger the volatilized strength. Chin Luo thought to himself. Every time the progress bar of the characters in the heavens is obtained, it is obtained according to the improvement of his strength. Switching to the Ghost Swordsman template doesn't mean losing Thor Rey, but switching it. Feel free to switch back. Host, Chin Luo. Characters currently in use, Thor Rey. Owned characters, Thor Rey 80%, Ghost Swordsman 60%. Chance to draw characters from the heavens, 0. Hockey, Armament Hockey, Observation Hockey, Conqueror Hockey. Forbearance Fighting Technique, Armor of Thunder Escape LV2. Switch to Ghost Swordsman template. Chin Luo thought silently in his heart. Ding, the switch is successful. Om. At this moment, Chin Luo's mind was blank. A mighty hockey figure appeared, and a ghost fire sword intent surged up on his body. Within 100 meters, it seemed like a faint green ghost fire was ignited, shuddering with horror. Even Nami, who was not far away, noticed something. Her back was cold and her scalp was numb. Chin Luo's eyes seemed to be different. Focused on the way of the sword, eyes indifferent. Don't go to the new world yet, go to a place and get one thing. Chin Luo shook his head, dispelling all the indifferent emotions of the ghost swordsman, and said softly. Huh, where? Nami was shocked. What the hell is this guy doing? 3 terrorist sails. The island standing in the magic triangle, its true face is the huge sailing ship, Dread Bark, from West Blue, and the flag is a skull with the leader Moria's flaming hair and a pair of flaming bat wings. The front door is shaped like a giant mouth designed to catch passing ships. Every year, more than 100 ships go missing in the magic triangle because the island has been here for 10 years. Surrounded by thick fog, the early days were to prevent those who lost their shadows from being wiped out by the sun. When Thor entered the magic triangle, Nami was obviously intimidated by the environment here. The surrounding smog was hazy and gloomy. Master, why are we here? She wanted to turn around and leave immediately. It's okay, I'm here just to find a knife. Chin Luo smiled softly. What he was talking about was naturally the black sword Autumn Water, one of the 21 great swordsmen. It was once the sword of Wano-kuni swordsman Ryoma, and it is called the national treasure of Wano-kuni. For use as a DNF ghost swordsman. Go ahead, fight quickly. Chin Luo first switched to the Thor Rey template to win the Great Sword and Autumn Water, and then used the Ghost Swordsman template. He found that once the progress bar of the possessed character reached 80%, the speed of progress would become very slow. So Chin Luo thought that it would be better to let the template of the DNF Ghost Swordsman rise to 80% first. Facing Chin Luo's request, Nami had no choice but to implement it, but she always had a bad premonition in her heart. The gloomy environment made her tremble in her heart. At this time, in the Devil's Triangle, in the depths of the heavy fog, it seemed as if the sun could not be seen when reaching out. A huge, island-like giant 3-masted sail was slowly drifting on the sea. That was Moria's Dread Bark, the largest ship in the world. The structure of this giant 3-masted sailboat is very peculiar, with a gloomy castle and palace in the center, a courtyard on the outside, a circled pond on the outside, and finally a layer of outer walls, which separates the courtyard, the castle and a part of it. The sea is surrounded by it. Said to be a pond, in fact, its size and scope are enough to accommodate 10 large warships. It can eat up ordinary small boats and even large sailboats like hunting. Now, On the inner side of the terror bark, a merchant ship was churning in the sea, and there were constant sounds of panic and screams coming from it. Laugh. A sword chi flashed past, splitting several terrified soldiers in half. At the same time, on the deck not far away, two palms suddenly appeared in the void, grabbing a soldier's neck and twisting it violently, breaking his neck. The arms and body that seemed to be transparent gradually emerged from the nothingness. It was Absalom under Moria, the transparent fruit of Paramesha. "Hey," I said, "don't cut people into pieces, the master will be angry, these are all new zombie materials." Absalom revealed his figure and scolded a sword-wielding zombie in the distance. "Yo hoo hoo hoo. That zombie holding a big fast knife Chu Shui is exactly the zombie made from the corpse of the swordsman Longma." Hearing Absalom's rebuke at this moment, he casually put Chu Shui on his shoulder. There were not many guards left on the merchant ship. There were only a dozen or so people, and all of them were full of horror. Even if the enemy was only Absalom and the swordsman Longma zombie, they could not resist at all, and they were completely defeated. "I'm the deputy boss of the Jerry Chamber of Commerce, you can't do this." In the broken cabin, an old man trembled and said to Absalom, "You are Shichibukai Moria's subordinates, take me to see Moria, I can give him money." Absalom's gaze shifted from the swordsman Longma to the supervisor, with a hint of indifference, and said, "It's a pity that the master. He's not interested in money. Among Shichibukai, the tyrant bear is the king of a country, the queen wants to feed the island of 9 snakes, Doflamingo has dark transactions all over the world, Jinbei will also use money to relieve the poor fish man, even the sand crocodile, but also use money to maintain Baroque works the society as a whole. There are only 2 who are not interested in money at all. Hawkeye Mahawk, Gecko Moria. The former is not interested in everything except swordsmanship. Even if he occasionally goes out to hunt pirates, he is just too bored and wants to have some fun. The latter only cares about corpses. If you want to create an invincible zombie army, the zombie army does not need to eat and wear. Chapter 29 No, no. The vice chairman of the Jerry Chamber of Commerce shrank in the corner in horror. When Absalom saw this, Vivi shook his head, picked up a sword at random, walked forward, and said, "Such an old guy, if he turns into a zombie, he probably won't be able to fight, he can only use it as a toy to scare people." The guards next to him were already scared out of their minds. Seeing Absalom approaching, no one dared to step forward to stop him, and the hands holding the weapons were constantly shaking. But just as Absalom approached the old man and was about to swing his sword, a violent roar suddenly came from not far away. With this roar, I saw a large area of the outer wall of the terrifying 3-masted sailing ship shattered with a bang, and the sea current and strong wind whistled, causing the merchant ship to shake violently. "What's the matter?" Absalom's pupils shrank, and he turned his head to look in the direction of the shattering and roaring sound, and then his face changed drastically. A ship inlaid with sparkling glowing gems rushed in from the broken gap under the wrapping of the waves. Absalom immediately used the fruit ability, intending to go to investigate, and then report to the Master Moria. And this sighed. "Are you going to disembark with me? Or you stay here, I'll finish it soon?" Chin Luo asked. I'd better go with you." The surroundings were cloudy, the haze was severe, and it was too gloomy and dark. When Nami stayed on the boat alone, she felt more and more terrified. "It's better to follow Chin Luo's side." "Okay." Chin Luo nodded. The two had just boarded the terrifying 3-masted sailing ship, when a 3-headed monster suddenly appeared in the darkness and blocked their way. "Ah, so scary, there's a dog with 3 heads." Nami was surprised at first, and after seeing the monster's face, she immediately hid behind Chin Luo. Hee, it turned out to be a zombie 3-headed dog, Cypress, and one of the 3 heads is a fox head. Chin Luo explained. The next second, Chin Luo rushed forward, his fists filled with golden thunder and lightning, and knocked down the 3-headed dog with one punch. The two continued to walk forward. In less than 10 minutes, the two came to a cemetery. Nami was still frightened, holding Chin Luo's arm, refusing to let go. It is natural for women to be afraid of ghosts and zombies. She looked cautiously at the gloomy cemetery and said nervously, Chin Luo, do we really want to keep going? It looks so scary here. It's okay, I'm here. Chin Luo looked relaxed. Occasionally, he can feel Nami's headlights, which makes him feel comfortable. Chin Luo opened the way in front, and the two of them all stepped into the cemetery. Ah! Nami was walking and suddenly felt someone grabbed her ankle and looked down in horror. I saw a bandaged hand tightly grasping his ankle, and immediately let out a scream, grabbing Chin Luo with tears streaming down his face. Weeping on his face, he said, Master, save me. Huh. Chin Luo looked back and saw a zombie suddenly sprang out of Nami's feet and grabbed Nami. A golden yellow lightning struck, instantly crushing the zombie's hand, and immediately a zombie head drilled out of the ground. Chin Luo's feet were covered with armament hockey, and he kicked it like a football. The zombie's head rolled to the side, but the zombie still held onto Nami's ankle. Another zombie crawled out of the ground, picked up its head, threw it to the zombie whose head was cut off, and said, Brother, your head fell off, then. The zombie whose head was chopped off let go of Nami, grabbed his own head and put it on directly, and said, Thank you, brother. There are zombies. Seeing such a terrifying scene, Nami was immediately terrified. She grabbed Chin Luo's arm, trying to pull him to escape, and screamed in horror. To dare to cut off my brother's head, I'm just impatient. Brothers all come out and teach these hateful guys a lesson. As soon as the zombie's voice fell, dozens of zombies crawled out of the ground and surrounded Chin Luo and the two. Really? Chin Luo's mouth curled into a smile, and the ability of thunder and lightning instantly set the cemetery on fire. Regardless of whether they are bombarded by lightning or not, all zombies are instantly destroyed by this power. In less than a minute, most of the zombies were wiped out, and the remaining zombies simply gave up attacking Chin Luo and others, and turned around to flee the battlefield. Humph! Since you're here, don't try to run. The wrath of Thor. Seeing that the zombies wanted to escape, Chin Luo snorted coldly. The sky was instantly covered with thunderclouds, and countless golden thunders smashed down, covering most of the zombies under the thunder. Boom! The golden thunder fell, and most of the zombies were directly turned into coke. A few were lucky and were not destroyed by the thunder. But Chin Luo was frightened and stood in the same place, not daring to make any changes. In an instant, all the zombies in this cemetery were cleaned up by Chin Luo. Absalom used the transparent fruit to hide in the distance. Seeing Chin Luo destroying the zombie army in the cemetery with one hand, he could not help but take a deep breath and said to himself, Who are these two people? But now it seems that the comers are not good, so hurry up, go and inform the master. Somewhere in the horror bark hides a group of poor people whose shadows have been taken away. But today is their lucky day, because just now, countless black shadows suddenly flew from the sky and fell into the crowd. My shadow is back. Mine too. Me too. The shadow suddenly flew back by itself, and those who got the shadow all shed tears of excitement. What happened? Why did the shadow fly back on its own? Did someone break into the dread bark? The return of the shadow for no reason gave these poor people the hope of escaping from the Devil's Triangle. Chapter 30 _ Chin Luo and the two walked to the door of the ancient castle and kicked the door open. Walking into the living room of the old castle, there was no one in sight. Nami looked around vigilantly. It was too quiet, too gloomy, and nothing was right. These paintings looked disgusting. Nami inadvertently saw that the wall was covered with paintings of zombies, and could not help frowning. You people dare to break into the master's house, you are simply impatient. There is a pig's head shield hanging on the wall, and it is the pig's head who speaks. Hey, pig's head, tell me, where is Gecko Moria? Talk to him about something. Chin Luo asked, digging out his ears. Well, now that you know the name of my master, You dare to break in? Brothers, come on, arrest all of them, and send them to the master. Pig 2 roared loudly. Ho-a-ho-ho. After the pig had finished speaking, all the paintings hanging on the wall turned into zombies and rushed towards Chinluo and the two of them. Chinluo had expected it for a long time, and the thunder rolled towards the zombies. Loud, boom, the zombie standing in front of Chinluo was instantly bombarded into powder by lightning, and he died without a whole corpse. Ah, it's electricity. The other zombies saw the lightning, which is the most feared thing by the shadows, and immediately retreated, leaving the range of the lightning bombardment. In the dark corridor, Chinluo walked at the front, and the golden thunder and lightning instantly illuminated it, making it bright. The two entered a dark palace. Yo-ho-ho, the guest came from afar, but I didn't greet you in person. I'm really sorry. One was wearing a white kimono with a dragon character embroidered on both sleeves, white hair, a mummified body, a bandage wrapped around 1/3 of his head, and beside him was a black knife with a scarlet pattern. Swordsman Ryoma walked out slowly. Chinluo's eyes seemed to only see the autumn water in the hands of the dragon horse. Morning Song Thorn. At this time, Longma suddenly launched an attack, pulled out the autumn water from his waist, and stabbed Chinluo directly. Chinluo's feet are covered with armament hockey, which strikes with Longma's autumn water. Friction sparks between the blades. Nose Song Sanding Swallowtail Cut. Seeing that one move could not deal with Chinluo, Longma stepped forward. His body was as sharp as a sharp edge, and it was as fast as lightning. The autumn water in his hand stabbed instantly and rushed straight to Chinluo. Chu Shui suddenly drew an arc-shaped pitch-black sword light in midair, pointing directly at Chinluo's vital point. Electric Chidori. Chinluo's right hand condensed violent lightning and made a chirping sound like 1,000 birds. He also didn't dare to exert his power too much, for fear that the power of thunder and lightning would shatter the autumn water of the big quick knife. Although this chance is very small, Chinluo is still reluctant to take risks. In an instant, the palace shook violently. Countless thunder and lightning are entangled here, and the lightning is intertwined, densely packed, as if to experience the end of the world. A cloud of dust lingered. Janao Longma could not sense Chinluo's breath. I thought I had already dealt with him. Where are you looking? Chinluo's voice resounded around Longma like a ghost. The dragon horse was suddenly startled, and he drew his sword and was about to wave it away. Bang! However, a golden luster suddenly appeared in front of him, and a swift sword that had snatched away from its hand, knocked the dragon and horse into the air with one hand and one punch. After all, it's just a corpse that's been dead for years. Chinluo touched the autumn water on his hand and smiled. Chushui is relatively heavy, but its length is not longer than other knives, so the ridge of Chushui must be thicker. The blade is a large inverse T-shaped blade. The blade is black and purple, and has a red serration pattern. The knife is so tough that it wouldn't bend a millimeter even if a dinosaur stepped on it. It is denser and heavier than knives of the same size. In general, Chinluo is deeply satisfied. Deep in the castle. Master, the big thing is bad. Absalom ran to report quickly, looking flustered. Oh, what happened? A giant figure gradually emerged from the darkness, with a strange laugh. He is 7 meters tall, has a fiery hairstyle, looks like a devil, has 2 horns on the side of his forehead, pointed ears and teeth, has crisscross stitches that resemble wounds from his head to his neck, and wears a bat-shaped collar. Shirts and clothing in Gothic art. Gecko Moria, the great pirate who once dominated the New World. He was also a pirate who was confident in his own strength and dared to chase his dreams. It is a pity that the battle with Kaido completely destroyed his foundation and returned to paradise as a loner. He is now 44 years old, although he still has the attitude of a pirate bully, but who can really know the true thoughts in his heart? To Moria, there is a person whose upper body is as fat as a water tank, but his lower body is as thin as a pair of chopsticks. A fishnet covers the upper body, and he is wearing a super tight overalls and a very exaggerated purple cloak with fluff. He is the perverted doctor, one of the three weirdos, Hogbuck. Absalom, what happened to make you so flustered? A little lowly in a princess dress, with a crown, pink double ponytail hair, and a puppet of a zombie bear in her hand, stood beside Moria and snickered at Absalom. It was Perona. Absalom quickly explained Chin Luo's affairs, one by one, one by one. Master, let's go help Longma, or it won't persist. Boom. Before he could finish speaking, the entire castle shook violently. Chin Luo, holding Chushui in his hand, had already switched to the ghost swordsman template, and his sword cut through the void. The castle was cut in half. A 100-meter-long crack made everyone in Moria's eyelids twitch. Two figures approached. One is a beautiful girl in a maid uniform. The other was a young man dressed in white, holding a sword in his right hand, with a valiant appearance and a gentle face. The sword in his hand. Moria and the others recognized it, and it was a quick knife. So, has the swordsman Ryoma been killed? It's really fast. Above the middle of the night, a bright full moon hangs high, shining softly. Under Gecko, everyone's eyes gathered together. Moria's gloomy aura, Vivi condensed, tried to suppress Chin Luo, and said threateningly, "Boy, leave your shadow, I can make you suffer less." He. Chin Luo gently isho, like a spring breeze like scissors. Originally, he should have left after taking Chushui, but he wanted to try the power of DNF Ghost Swordsman, so he should use Moria as a test stone. You have the guts to keep me, Moria. No, loser of the Great Root, do you think you can do it? Chapter 31-. Chin Luo's voice was not loud. But under the guidance of the spirit, it was like a sharp blade, piercing into Moria's heart and breaking his humble heart. An instant, countless bloodshots appeared in Moria's eyes. The loser of the Great Root. Yes. Moria is indeed a loser, even if he has the skin of the King Shichibukai, he can't erase the shame that he was defeated by Kaido and fled back to the first half in vain. And this shame is Moria's deepest pain. He built the zombie army so that he could create an army that could fight against Kaido's beast army. Asshole. Moria was angry, and she was completely furious in an instant. The shadow split instantly, turned into countless bats and flew out of the castle, flying in the direction of Chin Luo. There is a price to pay for angering me. With Moria's movements, the entire terrifying bark seemed to wake up. A large number of zombies crawled out of the cemetery, and the huge hull began to move forward. It was as if the island was moving towards the warship, and it slammed into it unstoppably. Perona, Absalom, and Hogbark also attacked immediately. That's it. Chin Luo gently isho. Hum. A faint aura gradually spread from his body. The moment when the momentum spreads. Boom. The momentum has risen steadily, becoming like a surging tide. In an instant, a terrible air current swept in all directions. That powerful momentum, with Lu'en as the center point, permeates all around. The majestic momentum radiated from Chin Luo's body. Squeezing the air creates weird distortions visible to the naked eye. In the center of the ground ahead, the earth was torn apart into a bottomless abyss, and the shock wave caused by the extrusion was like a raging flood, wrapping everything that could be touched along the way, and venting towards the surroundings. Amazing Conqueror. Perona and others who rushed over, as well as a large number of zombies, were instantly stunned in place, unable to move. Immediately afterwards, everyone was dizzy, their legs were weak, and they fell to the ground. Then there was a slack in his eyes, a nervous breakdown, his face pale, dizzy, his eyes darkened, and he fell to the ground. Moria's face changed. At this moment, the scalp-tingling conqueror made him see the shadow of a certain figure. The same domineering. The same horror is unparalleled. The king of beasts, Kaido. The corners of his mouth seemed to have bitten blood, and Gecko Moria couldn't help but recall the terrifying figure like a demon. Don't bother me. Chin Luo gently isho to Perona, and his sickly appearance made him interested in taking her on board. Disperse Conqueror Hockey. Everyone's back was cold, covered in sweat, and they took a deep breath. Come on Moria, let me see your strength. Chinluo holds the autumn water and points to Gecko Moria. I hope this battle will not be too boring. Moria looked at Chinluo, and his eyes showed hideous and murderous intent. This man dared to underestimate him and waved his hands. Shadow Box. The shadow under his feet instantly turned into a black bat and flew towards Chinluo. Asura Evil Light / Ashura form. Chinluo condensed his own strength and swung the knife sharply. Puff, puff. The black bats approached Chinluo, but before they converged into a shadow box, they collapsed and dissipated like bubbles. He was instantly cut off by this sword intent. Moria was puzzled. Didn't Absalom tell him not long ago that the other party is a devil fruit ability user with thunder and lightning attributes? Not only can I use Conqueror Hockey now, but the one-handed swordsmanship is so powerful. Damn, Shadowhorn Gun. Moria's open hands suddenly clenched into fists. Whoa! The bats in the sky quickly flew down, gathered in front of Moria, turned into a shadow spear, and ran through the sky. In an instant, he came to Chinluo's feet. Extreme Ghost Swordsmanship, Sword Soul Form. At this moment, Chinluo shot. There is no wind between heaven and earth, but everyone can hear the whimper of the wind. The mood of death instantly filled the air. This is a heart-pounding breath, this is a devastating energy, tyrannical and terrifying. I saw that in the sky above Chinluo, 24 swords were generated in sequence, 12 above and 12 below, and these swords were drawn out to cause fatal damage to the enemy in turn. How is this sword intent possible? Moria's expression became gloomy, and the opponent's swordsmanship made him feel like he had met Mahak. At this time, his sword has been killed. A very natural sword, a very random blow. But in an instant, the black figure that came from the impact was killed hundreds of meters back in one fell swoop. But the power of this sword does not seem to end. With a not weak tendency, he slashed straight towards Gecko Moria. Shard Bat. A short period of time, Moria activated the fruit ability again at an extremely fast speed. Countless dark purple vampire bats burst out of the shadows, gathered in front of the body, like thousands of phantoms, and then condensed together. Black bats slowly gathered, forming a black wall in front of Moria, trying to resist this sword energy. PFF'd. The black wall made of bats collapsed and fell apart in an instant. Moria spewed blood and flew upside down, and the skin and flesh on her body cracked piece by piece. This sword has shocked everyone, and they are all dumbfounded. Moria stood, gritted her teeth and controlled the shadow. That sword, the terrifying fluctuations made him feel a burst of heart palpitations. Hogbek, take Perona and Absalom out of here at once. Moria has realized that Chinluo's strength is far greater than her own, so she wants the three of them to leave quickly. There were only the three of them on this ship, and Moria really cared about them. As for the other zombies, they were just tools. Yes, Moria-sama. Frightened by the terrifying battle just now, Hogbark immediately executed Moria's order. He didn't want to stay here any longer. He hurriedly picked up Absalom, pulled Perona and ran into the distance. Lord Moria. Perona, who was dragged away by Hogba, looked at Moria reluctantly and shouted coquettishly. Moria didn't respond. Today he did a lot of things that were not in line with his usual identity, and he no longer wanted to cross the line. Chinluo said with a smile, I didn't say you can leave. Chapter 32 Chu Shui pierced the sky, and a sword energy that was enough to distort the space instantly slashed towards the front of the three of them. Boom! The terrifying sword energy directly caused the explosion of air currents in the sky and the earth, and a gully of several dozen meters was drawn out 100 meters away from the three of them. Once the sword is out, thousands of miles of mountains and rivers are broken, and nothing can stop it. The three of Hogbuk were too frightened to move. Gecko Moria's expression froze. Although he doesn't know how he provokes the other party, it is inevitable to fight desperately. Shadow gathering place. 100 zombies in the distance slumped to the ground, and black shadows floated out of the zombies and poured into Moria's body. Every time a shadow was absorbed, Moria's body swelled by 1 point. The other hand waved again, and another 100 shadows floated over. Moria's upper body swelled immediately, and the overall height reached more than 10 meters. The uncoordinated force made Moria crawl like a beast. With his bat-like appearance, it is exactly the same as the legendary demon walking on the ground. Boy, you shouldn't force me to use this trick. He he he. As soon as Moria opened her mouth, it seemed as if countless people were speaking at the same time, and the voice came from the abyss, heavy and muddy. Moria, who gathers 200 shadow powers, can easily smash a huge ship with 1 punch. This is also the main reason why he can gallop in the new world. Really, looking forward to it. Feeling the unparalleled strength of Moria, Chinluo curled his lips into Isho, a throbbing feeling of being against his opponent. Burning blood berserker form. Chinluo's whole body was boiling with blood, and a scarlet breath permeated his body. In this state, he can continue to recover blood in battle and has a recovery effect. Behind him is a blood sword demon, a drop of blood, gradually converging out. The blood-red light filled the surface of his body, and the dazzling flame shrouded his body like a red flame demon. A terrifying 3-masted sailboat, 2 giants, 1 red and 1 dark, stood facing each other. A great battle is about to unfold here. Is this his true power? In the distance, Nami's eyes showed indescribable affection. He stared deeply at the phantom of the blood sword demon in the distance, with a stalwart figure as high as the sky, facing the same tall shadow demon on the opposite side. In the battlefield, the wind was surging, howling in the sky, and the strong wind blew Chinluo's hair. Chinluo stood firmly in front of the blood sword demon, condensing his own momentum, with a hint of madness in his blood-colored eyes. Blade of blood. Slammed into Moria like a red thunderbolt. The front seemed to spurt hot magma, covering the sword swung by Chinluo and slashing out. Moria snorted coldly, and the huge black shadow under her feet spiraled up along her body, wrapping around Moria's right fist, turning into a sharp thrust, and heading straight for it. Boom! The red and black light and shadows were like planets colliding, bursting into each other in an instant, and the turbulent air pressure erupted like a flash flood. In front of Moria's castle, the energy stream shot wildly, and the rubble flew. But Chinluo and Moria stood firmly in the center of the air wave, unmoved, surrounded by a mighty power like a god and a demon, making people unattainable. The irritable air pressure hit Nami and the others like a mountain. Nami hurriedly took a few 100 steps back. Perona and Hogbuck were quite close to the battlefield, and they were stunned in place by seeing countless rubble hitting them head-on. Suddenly, Absalom opened his arms at the moment, tightly blocking the two of them. With his own beast-like body, he blocked all the rubble that had hit the two of them. Boom! After the wind is reduced, it is no longer threatening. Absalom fell to the ground with a thud and passed out again. During the whole process, I didn't even open my eyes. Absalom. Hogbuck hurried to Absalom's side. Perona opened his eyes and saw blood dripping from Absalom's back, countless tiny rubble stuck behind him, and drops of blood fell to the ground along his body. Hogbuck hurriedly carried Absalom behind his back and shouted to Perona, who was still stunned, "Quick, help me bring him to the operating room. He needs to stop the bleeding immediately." Ah! Perona came back to his senses and ran over to help Hogbuck to lift Absalom's feet. Absalom's body has been replaced with the parts of beasts under the transformation of Hogbuck, and his weight is far greater than that of ordinary humans. The two of them laboriously carried him, looking for the entrance to the operating room in the rubble. The wanton airflow gradually dissipated, and the gust of wind had stopped. At the feet of Chinluo and Moria, there was a huge ravine that was 10 feet deep, and the castle was ruined. Moria clenched her fangs, her eyes protruded, and she looked at the intersection of her and Chin Luo's autumn waters. The original shadow thorns shattered layer by layer under Chin Luo's autumn water. The blood that came out of nowhere, and the magma that spewed out, were eroding Moria's body. Vivi's fingers were scorched. Moria instantly pulled out her arms, her weird figure, and her legs jumped hard, pulling away from Chin Luo. Bloody aura spread all over Chin Luo's body. The eyes full of blood red, the meaning of madness, is undoubtedly obvious. Break the mountains and the ground. Brush, brush. The blood-colored sword light is cut out from the autumn water. Like a raging wave, thousands of sword shadows have turned into épée marks between the electric light and flint, and the sword is vigorous and unrestrained, vertical and horizontal, like thousands of giant waves overlapping. Staggered, rolling around the world. The fiery blood red, as if the temperature of 100 meters in the area, has risen sharply by a stage. Sigh. Sounds like scorching fire sounded one after another, and Gecko Moria gathered thousands of shadows. Under the burning of this sword, it was instantly destroyed by it. Even some fragile shadow souls were burned to ashes before the sword energy approached. What? P.S. Big guys, ask for a wave of flowers and comments. Your support is the source of the author's motivation. Chapter 33_. Moria's face was hideous, and she looked at Chin Luo's sword in disbelief at the surging blazing orange flames. The rolling flames released infinite power, as if suppressing everything between heaven and earth. Moria is no stranger to this level of power. Back then, under this kind of power, he was helpless, confused, and finally lost everything he had. Now, he had escaped from the desperate new world and wanted to forget everything, but he encountered this kind of power again. This familiar feeling of powerlessness, why? Why is that? No one could answer Moria's doubts. An indescribable impact of destruction swept across Moria's body. The last second of consciousness, in the thick sea of fire, Moria seemed to see her former companions again. Everyone respectfully called him Captain Moria, and never disliked his unusual appearance. They sat together as equals and ate meat, drank a lot of wine, learned his special laughter, and lived in the sea for dreams. Go straight ahead. Recalling the beautiful dream, Moria lost consciousness under the huge shock. A drop of rare tears evaporated instantly in the flames. Black shadows floated out from Moria's body and flew into the distance in all directions. Moria's body slowly returned to its original state, her eyes rolled up, the whites of her eyes exposed, her mouth wide open, and she fell to the ground from a height. But at this moment, Chin Luo's autumn water changed its trajectory and drew into the sky. The sky seemed to be graffitied, and everywhere was filled with orange-red fire. The flames of justness in both arms were still strong, and the scalding flames shone toward the sky, soaring into the sky, tearing the night sky to pieces. After passing over the earth and rocks rolled, and a lava ravine was drawn on the ground. Bumped into the forest, raging fire, removing the entire forest from the island. It shut into the sea water boiled, and the high waves rushed towards the island. Just half a minute. The entire island of terrifying barks turned into red ground, and the terrifying high temperature washed the island. The gloom of the past was swept away, and in exchange, it was a tragic situation like hell. The castle was shattered in battle, and the sails were reduced to ashes in the fire. Lord Moria. On the other side, Hogbok and Perona, who were hiding in the underground operating room, were lucky to escape the disaster that swept the whole island. Feeling the earth-shattering sound outside, Perona went straight out of her body, left the operating room, and came to the ground. It can be said that he was the only person in the audience who witnessed the whole process of Luffy destroying the island. After the battle calmed down, Perona immediately returned to her body, walked out of the basement, and found Moria fainted in a deep ditch. Pity that Perona's strength is too weak to lift Moria, who has the height of a little giant. Had to go out of the body again, looking for the help of Hogbok. Go back 10 seconds ago. The fierce battle on the battlefield affected Nami, who was 10,000 meters away. Bang bang bang. The fierce collision, the sword wind whistled, more deafening than the sound of thunder. The majestic power squeezed the air into a strange distortion visible to the naked eye. The whole world seemed to be torn apart. In the middle of the confrontation, the earth was torn apart into a bottomless abyss, and the shock wave caused by the extrusion was like a raging flood, wrapping everything that could be touched along the way, toward the surrounding vent away. Wherever the shock wave went, whether it was a tree or a mountain, it was like a plain stroke smeared by an eraser, completely erased without any resistance. Seeing the shock wave hit Nami, a blood-colored barrier formed a mesh-like wall to resist this huge fluctuation of energy and slow its impact. Obviously secretly, Chin Luo shot. As a result, the big net protected Nami like a barrier, and everything around was washed away in the blink of an eye. The grass under Nami's feet, swaying in the wind, looks like a solid reef in a turbulent torrent. Nami was really about to cry. This Nima has not yet reached the new world, and the battle is so fierce. She had no part in it at all. She even said that she was afraid that she would not improve her strength soon, or that she would not survive 2 episodes. Chin Luo is so terrifying. Ding! The progress of the Ghost Swordsman character has been increased to %. Host, Chin Luo. Currently using characters from the heavens, DNF Ghost Swordsman. Owned characters, Thor Rey 80%, Ghost Swordsman %. Chance to draw characters from the heavens, 0. Hockey, Armament Hockey, Observation Hockey, Conqueror Hakilv 1. Let's go, I'll take you to search for a wave. Chin Luo took Nami's hand and walked to the beach near the castle. For Moria, he did not make the final blow, because there is still the role of exploitation. Nami obviously hasn't woken up from the violent fluctuation just now. It wasn't until he came to the beach that he calmed down a little. Here, Chin Luo also met the Jerry Chamber of Commerce who had been captured by Absalom before. The price for saving them was to pay all the going, gems, and berry on their ship. Also, there are many treasures in the pirate ship on the edge of the sea with the terrifying 3 treacherous sails. Let Nami's eyes go straight to the stars in an instant, become a hunter, pick up and pick up, keep picking up. ... On the other side, in the operating room below the broken castle, Hogbuck is still busy changing Moria and Absalom with different wound medicines. Absalom's entire back was crushed to pieces by the stones, and his muscles were all torn apart. Fortunately, the damage to the internal organs was not that big, and there were some fresh corpses hidden in the operating room. Hogbuck used his magical medical skills to give Absalom a new back. Just wait for his physical strength and spirit to recover until he wakes up. Absalom's side, Hogbuck turned his attention to Moria, who had managed to maintain his life. Just now, while Chin Luo and Nami were on a treasure hunt, he and Perona laboriously rescue Moria from the ravine. At that time, Moria had been scorched black by flames, and more than 60% of his body had turned into mature flesh, losing his vitality. Hogbuck came to Moria's hospital bed, and while preparing surgical tools, he murmured, "What a terrible monster, to actually burn Lord Moria like this. No, or, Lord Moria can actually be in that kind of it only burns 60% under attack, what a terrifying monster." The powerless Hogbuck couldn't understand the world of the strong at all, and did not understand how these strong men did this, but this did not hinder his superb medical skills. When he saw the injured Moria Sama for the first time, he even gave the judgment of death in his heart. He had never seen someone who could still breathe while the skin was severely burned. After hearing Moria's heartbeat, he immediately asked Perona's cooperation to perform a mission as a surgical secretary. In the ghost state, he carefully observed Moria's physical condition and described it to him in detail. Hogbuck, before he became a pirate, he had another identity, the world's most talented surgeon. He has lived in seclusion for many years, and now this title can only be circulated in the medical field. But the strength of a doctor's medical skills has always been based on strength. Through superb medical skills, he cuts off the cooked flesh inside Moria's body, and then relies on Moria's powerful vitality and physical recovery. I have been excising bit by bit without leaving the operating room for 2 days. Wait until the new meat grows, and then go to other places. Chapter 34 _ After half a day, the tired hogbark finally had time to rest. Moria's internal organs and the protective internal organs have been completely grown, and the rest can be directly removed in large areas, just wait slowly. Genius surgeon, well-deserved reputation. Just this time. Outside the operating room, a dark shadow gradually approached. The two heard the sound and looked away. After seeing that it was Chin Luo, Perona and Hogbuck's faces turned pale in an instant. The two thought that Chin Luo and Nami had already left, but they were still here. Hogbuck was about to say something. Chin Luo's conqueror dissipated in an instant, knocking him unconscious to the ground. Perona was the only one left, and was about to fight back. Perona, I now solemnly invite you to board my ship, what do you think? Chin Luo did not do anything to her, but sincerely invited her with a smile. Perona's movements stopped, and her face became strange. What is this guy conspiring? With his strength, is it necessary to invite himself on board? Apparently entertaining himself. Negative ghost. Perona secretly used her classic move, and a looming ghost appeared behind Chin Luo. The release of multiple spiritual body clones from the body, such as the body penetrated by the spiritual body, can make people's hearts become extremely depressed. Sounds great. But it doesn't work for people who are already negative. 5 or 6 passive ghosts slid into Chin Luo's body. Success. Perona had a smile on her face, caught the ghost of negativity, to see how much energy you have left to fight. But soon, she felt something was wrong. In front of Chin Luo, Vivi lowered his head, but Vivi raised the corner of his mouth, raised his head slowly, and smiled softly at her. Comparing me with negative energy. I've heard of poisonous chicken soup, but it's more salty than you've ever eaten. Chin Luo despised Isho. How is that possible? Perona looked surprised. She didn't think there were people in this world who could resist the negative ghost. I heard you're still single. Don't be discouraged, don't call yourself a single dog. At your age, all dogs die of old age. At this time you will doubt your ability. Don't worry, sometimes you are right, your ability is really questionable. I also have to say that the negative energy in Chin Luo's heart is really far more than Perona's negative ghost. He never bothered to watch some positive chicken soup because he felt disgusting. After listening to a sentence or two of positive energy, at most, put down the phone, do 1 or 2 push-ups, read a book for 2 minutes, encourage yourself, and then fall into the world of watching videos, reading novels, and playing games. It's not as practical as negative energy. The light of the right path shines on the earth. Compared with me, you are far from negative energy. Yi is someone who has lived in Zan for 7 or 8 years. Chin Luo glanced at her, the poles reversed, welcome to Zan. He wanted to ask Perona, if you were in Zan, would your parents still be there? Join my team or I'll kill them. Chin Luo smiled softly, but like a cold blade, it made Perona's back feel cold. Perona glanced at him, the collapsed hogbark, the comatose gecko Moria and Absalom, with complicated expressions. Is what you said true? Chin Luo, of course, I won't lie to beautiful girls. It came from a perverted compliment, which made her, who grew up with ghosts, have strange emotions. Okay, I promise you. Perona nodded silently. Let's go then. Chin Luo suddenly turned around and walked in front. Thinking in his mind, one was wearing a blue maid uniform, the other was wearing a pink maid uniform, he was lying comfortably on the sofa, one was feeding him grapes, and the other was rubbing his shoulders and beating his back. Thinking of this, Chin Luo couldn't stop smiling. Perona took a last look at the operating room and left a letter saying that she had nothing to do, but went to a distant place, and it was estimated that it would take a long time to return. She lowered her head and followed Chinluo. At this time, Perona thought again about the reason why Chinluo invited her to the boat. Always incomprehensible. Accidentally raised his head, he saw Chinluo's mouth raised VV up, sketching a smile. Surprised Perona, feeling that something was about to happen to her. At this time, suddenly, the figure in front stopped. Chinluo turned around, walked slowly in front of her, and observed carefully. He frowned slightly, as if seeing a flaw. Perona didn't dare to move, for fear of provoking Chinluo. Chinluo even reached out to touch her little face, but the dark circles under her eyes were a little heavy. Really, it seems that Perona is really not a beautiful girl who cherishes her skin. She has to watch 5 or 6 episodes of Balala Little Magic Fairy to supplement her knowledge. You. Feeling the temperature of Chinluo's hand, Perona almost opened her mouth to bite his hand. Perona, you're pretty, but I don't think a princess is right for you. Chinluo said with a smile. Perona's appearance is still online, and her figure is also very good. If the dark circles under the eyes are removed, maybe the upper limit of the face value will be added 1 more point. Hearing Chinluo's praise, Perona didn't know whether to be happy or afraid. Involuntarily, her heart was indeed filled with joy. After all, she is complimenting her, so she will still feel joy in her heart. Wait, something doesn't seem right. The other party is the bad guy who tied her up, so why would you feel joy when you are praised? Since she was a child, she has been very lonely in her heart. As a ghost, she has no partner to play with her. Many people are afraid of her, and even hurt her because of fear. Although what she did was abominable, it was all to attract people's attention. Perhaps in this life, only a ghost who is also lonely can accompany her for a lifetime. It was the first time that Perona had heard a man compliment her, so she felt a little shy. You, what nonsense are you talking about? Perona turned her head away, preventing Chinluo from finding himself blushing. I'm telling the truth. Chinluo warmed Isho and said sincerely. Then what is the princess cut you're talking about? Perona asked. Princess cut, that is, the image of the hairstyle is that there is long hair at the back, the bangs on the front forehead are cut horizontally at the height of the eyebrows, and the hair feet, hanging in front of the ears on both sides are still cut to the chin or long. I don't think it suits you, because the green tea princess cut, you are not green tea. Chinluo explained to her one by one. Green tea, do you mean green tea leaves? Perona was confused again, why Chinluo said she had never heard of it. If it is said, she is also a girl who has read many books since she was a child. Because she was lonely and unaccompanied when she was a child, there is only the ocean of knowledge in books, which can relieve boredom and accompany her. You don't need to worry about it, anyway, you just need to know that it's a derogatory term that means bad people. The more the explanation, the more chaotic. Chinluo doesn't need to explain too much. Bad guy, then I think you're green tea. Perona murmured, the man in front of her told her something she couldn't understand, was she trying to mislead herself? Quote. Green tea is for girls, not boys. Chinluo said with shame. Perona nodded in understanding. Then tell me, what hairstyle is suitable for me? Perona looked curious. As a man, does Chinluo really know what hairstyles are suitable for girls? Shouldn't it be a lie? And even if he understood, it would make Perona feel strange. You are a big man, do you really understand this? Still a strong man. Chapter 35_. Of course, if I were your hairdresser, I'd get you a big wavy hairstyle. Chinluo is evil and charming Isho. Quote. What kind of hairstyle is that? Does it make any sense? Perona asked suspiciously. A very bohemian hairstyle. After all, I think you are a scumbag, and it suits this hairstyle. Chinluo covered his mouth isho and couldn't help but laugh. Scumbag. Perona felt more and more wrong, the word seemed unfriendly. Cough cough. A scumbag refers to a kind of very nice, very kind, very considerate, good girl who thinks about boys and makes plans for boys. Chinluo said solemnly. There was another word left unspoken. After all, scumbags dislike boys being poor and leave them on their own initiative to lighten the burden for boys. Thank you, thank you. Perona blushed and thanked Chinluo. After all, in any case, Chinluo just said that she is suitable for the big wave of scumbags, doesn't that describe her as that kind of good girl? It was the first time that she was recognized for her age, so Perona was very happy and moved. Huh. Chinluo's pupils shrank. She won't be stupid. Did your brain get water too? But yes, she didn't know what it meant. If Perona knew the truth, would she have the urge to cut Chinluo into 8 pieces? On Thor. When Nami learns that Perona was invited by Chinluo on board. With weird eyes, he looked at Chinluo, as if to say, you pervert, what disgusting thoughts do you have? For some reason, Nami's heart was a little tasteful. Chinluo noticed her eyes, secretly, teasingly asked, hey, why is there an acetic acid smell on this ship? It smells of vinegar. What kind of vinegar? Nami was puzzled at first, and then she reacted, and her pretty face turned red in an instant. Bah, whoever is jealous, you are good to whomever has nothing to do with me. Besides, my commitment to you will end in a year. Scumbag. Nami said arrogantly, turned around, picked up a book on weather, and read it. Really? Chinluo smiled, I didn't say anything about you, are you trying to recruit yourself? Besides, Nami-chan is so cute, she took the book upside down. In an instant, Nami blushed, lowered her head, covered her head with a book, and buried herself in the book, which was really embarrassing. This side. Perona is in the cabin room, facing a mirror. I was speechless. The first thing Chinluo did when he got him on board was to get rid of the dark circles under his eyes. Then I canceled the double ponytail mode, and I specially gave myself a drawing. The drawing shows how to cut a big wavy hairstyle. I switched the princess to a big wavy hairstyle, which is said to have long curly hair fluttering, which is more stunningly beautiful. The second thing, Chinluo specially handed her a set of clothes. Perona was about to refuse, saying that she had clothes to wear, so she didn't need to give her clothes. But Chinluo smiled and said, no, you have to wear this suit. This is the rule of Thor. Perona looked at the pink maid uniform. She rolled her eyes and really wanted to slap Chinluo's face. Thor's rules. I'm afraid it's not your rules. Forced by Chinluo's river crab coercion, Perona had no choice but to replace it. 10 minutes later. When Perona came out of the cabin. Wearing a pink maid's uniform, big wavy hairstyle, and her charming temperament, Chinluo's eyes lit up. The delicate face, fair skin as snow, and beautiful long legs make people unable to help but take a few more glances, just like a woman who came out of a painting. Quite a ram taste. Chinluo believes that if Perona is gently isho now, it must be a very charming smile. The curvature of the corners of the mouth can be so perfect that people can't move them away. It's captivating indeed, and the laughter is so haunting that it can't be erased. Night. By Perona herself. She is very lonely when she is alone. Even if she is cooking, she will be very happy when someone accompanies her. Dinner is egg scallion noodles. The 3 sat at the dining table. Each person has a large bowl of egg noodles, and the fragrance makes people appetite. Chinluo, who had been waiting for a long time, couldn't help shouting, then I'll start first. Nami, food. But then, Nami was also attracted by the aroma of the noodles, and said to Perona with a smile, the noodles you made look very good. Thank you. It is also the first time for Perona to cook for people. She also reads some beautiful recipes, so there is no problem in cooking. Sizzle tilde. Chinluo took a bite of the noodles, and the scallion aroma of the egg noodles reverberated in his mouth. For the noodles in front of him, there is no resistance at all. Delicious. Quote. Perona, did you know? The delicacies of the mountains and the sea are nothing more than delicious dishes in front of your dishes. Chinluo said with sincere admiration. Invite Perona on board was quite correct. Obviously, these days, Nami's cooking skills make him not complimented. Perona was a little shy to be praised. Smooter, Nami said, thinking to herself, I'm not bad at cooking. However, this noodle is really good. Gotta ask Perona for some cooking lessons another day. Nami swore that it was not because Chinluo disliked her cooking skills that she wanted to work hard to improve her cooking skills. How could she change herself for this man? 10 minutes later. The movements of the three are in unison. A big stretch. This meal is comfortable. But Nami's actions soon became embarrassing. I saw Chinluo and Perona glanced at her, then looked at the tableware and chopsticks on the table, and motioned her to do the dishes. My dignified little thief cat Nami. I can definitely do this. Nami was about to get up and slip away, but found two pairs of demon-like glowing eyes staring at her behind her. Let yourself get chills down your spine. This evil spirit. Well, Nami gave in. I wash the dishes, it's all right. One is her master. One is the cook for dinner. She could barely be a dishwasher. P.S. Ask for flowers for evaluation tickets. Chapter 36 _ Marineford. Marine headquarters of the world government and one of the three major places in the whirlpool current. The elite forces stationed in the marine headquarters are gathered here. Office of the Marshal. Sengoku with a pair of frog glasses. A tall, broad-chested, muscular Garp. A dark red suit, a fierce Akainu appeared on his face. Wearing a white suit vest and dark blue shirt, Kuzan looks comfortable. There is also black curly hair, wearing a yellow and white striped suit, a beard on his face, and a pair of sunglasses, a tall, lanky Kizaru. 5 people gathered together. Sengoku knows. I got news today that Gecko Moria of Shichibukai, the king, was defeated by a mysterious young man yesterday, and he was seriously injured, and his life and death are unknown. It is said that that young man is also a swordsman with superb swordsmanship. What? The people present were a little surprised. King Shichibukai, together with the 4 emperors and marine headquarters, are the 3 major forces of the Great Route. They are the 7 great pirates recognized and privileged by the world government. They have catastrophic destructive power and great combat power that rivals the country. Only pirates with high reputation or high combat power are eligible to be elected as kings. Under Shichibukai, such a character was defeated by a mysterious young man. Speaking of superb swordsmanship, the first thing they think of is Mahak. The other party has no reason to go to the trouble of Gecko Moria. Who is this mysterious young man? It suddenly appeared, and he had never heard his name before. Is it an enemy or a friend? Pirate or marine? Kuzan, who looked comfortable, let out a sneer. He didn't even have any good feelings for King Shichibukai. Because at that time, his teacher Zephyr, because of the incident of Shichibukai, changed Zephyr's temperament. He betrayed Marine and decided to go it alone to end the era of the great pirates. The concept of justice was taught to him by his former teacher Zephyr, and it is the belief that Kuzan has adhered to throughout his life. Therefore, Kuzan would not have a favorable impression of Shichibukai, the king. I even praised the mysterious young man in my heart. Garp didn't really care. What he cared about was that the boy Ace not only went to sea, but also joined the Whitebeard pirates. I really want to be his One Piece king of pirates. Has anyone been investigated? Akainu asked. With a cold face, if the bounty hunter is okay, you can invite to join the marine. But if it is a pirate, he will definitely smash the opponent without hesitation. Sengoku shook his head and said, according to the investigation, it seems that he is going to the Sabayati Islands. Since there is such a person, I have to get to know him well. At this moment, Kizaru stood up and offered to take a look. Akainu and Kuzan had no opinion, neither did Garp, which was rarely raised by the lazy Kizaru. Sengoku nodded and said, "That's okay, Celino, please go and investigate the identity of the other party. If the other party is not a pirate, you can invite him to join Marine. If you really don't want to, ask him if he is willing to take the place of Shichibukai under the king. Sengoku himself has to sit at the Marine headquarters, and naturally he will not be dispatched easily." Gecko Moria, who was seriously injured and in a coma, was obviously not enough to hold the post of King Shichibukai. Of King Shichibukai is also a confrontation between forces to maintain the Great Route. Form a triangle. 10 days later. Chinluo and his party finally arrived at Sabayati Archipelago. Sabayati Archipelago. On this island, there is one of the largest mangrove trees in the world, the Aochiman mangrove, which forms the Sabayati Archipelago because its roots are always exposed on the water. The island is made up of 79 trees, each with towns and amenities. The regional division of Sabayati Archipelago is also very clear. In the area where the mangrove number 44 is located, Chinluo came to the place where the boat was parked. There is no one to manage it here, so many boats are scattered around the roots of the tree. Is this the Sabayati Islands? Nami stepped out of the boat with a look of excitement. The same is true for Perona, who is also out of the Devil's Triangle for the first time. The dividing line between the New World and the Great Land. Chinluo also got off the boat, with Nami on the left and Perona on the right. One blue and one red. A youthful figure, elegant and handsome, with gentle eyes, dressed in white, with a sword on his waist, his temperament is out of the ordinary. The three of them dressed up like the prince of the kingdom, and went out to sea with two beautiful maids. There are many people around, all looking at it, and even a few people's eyes flicker, talking and negotiating. Going, shopping for clothes, eating a big meal, and spending all are mine. Chinluo laughed loudly. It's the master. At this moment, Nami shouted sincerely. Every time Chinluo treats guests generously, it is when Nami thinks he is the most handsome. Sometimes, Chinluo's action of lighting a cigarette with Barry's banknotes is particularly charming. The three are walking. Chinluo raised his brows. Someone is following. Chinluo, who was walking on the street, felt a malicious look behind him. Walking to the door of a gift shop, through the reflection of the glass, I saw a black skinny monkey-like person stopping behind him, pretending to look at other things. Do you want to be so amateur? You look at things and choose the one that suits you. When you look at something that sells women's accessories, do you think you can find a girlfriend? Chinluo was powerless to complain. It seems that this is being watched. Hey. This damn beauty that has no place to be placed, is so eye-catching everywhere. It might be Chinluo's dress that made some criminals think he was a fat sheep to be slaughtered. You two have a walk around the neighborhood, buy whatever you want, I'll go handle some things, and be back soon. Chinluo said with a smile. Nami and Perona nodded one after another, and then turned their attention to the gift shop in front of them. There are a lot of jewelry here, all of which are shiny and beautiful, and they like it very much. After speaking, Chinluo walked to Area 13. He was going to a rip-off bar and asked Shaki, an intelligence officer, to inquire about the situation of the pirates in the islands of Sabayati. After all, the progress of his role requires constant fighting to improve and enhance his strength. And the pirates here can definitely meet Chinluo's needs. Chinluo also had an idea in his heart. If he wanted to become a bounty hunter, he could not only kill extremely vicious pirates, but also earn money. Kill two birds with one stone. But in the end, Chinluo thought it was troublesome, so he chose to shake his head. If he makes money, he might as well go grab it. With his strength, wealth is not within reach. Illegal zone, the residential area under the mangrove tree number 21. A group of bad-looking people have taken up arms and gathered in a dark house. The leader was a big man with a scarred face, who was listening to the report on the other side with a phone bug. The phone bug looked like a wretched skinny monkey face, and the voice came from inside. "I'm following the boss. This guy is definitely the prince of a certain kingdom, and he will definitely sell for a good price. Also, the two next to him. Beauty, that look. Absolutely, she is simply a peerless beauty. After playing, it is worth a lot of money to sell for a good price." I confirmed that he left alone. He was young and looked like he was 18 or 9. Quote. Looking at the direction of his travel, it looks like he is going to Area 13. Quote. The skinny monkey was still talking, and the people in the room were already excited. If such a fat sheep succeeds, then he will have at least half a year to eat and drink. The key is to look good and succeed. Chapter 37_. Scarface waved his hand, stopped the noisy voice, and said to the thin monkey, "You follow this fat sheep, don't let others get ahead." "Don't worry, boss, I'm the only one watching here. Wait, he seems to be entering from the mangrove number 19. Quote. Keep an eye on it, we're going to ambush now, it's finally time to eat meat again." Scarface said excitedly, "Little ones, put on your weapons and go." Chinluo walked towards the Shaki bar as if taking a walk. At this time, there was a wave of people in front of them, looking at Chinluo fiercely. Chinluo looked indifferently at the dozen or so ferocious men who surrounded him. From the looks of these people, he knew that they were not good birds. "It's so ugly," Chinluo is a little disgusted. "Boy, you will be captured now, and you will suffer less later." The skinny monkey jumped out from behind with a proud look on his face, and stood beside the scarred face and spoke. "Yes, boy, if you don't resist us, you can save some energy, you don't have to suffer, and you can sell it for a good price." Scarface also said. "Such top-level goods were damaged, the price would undoubtedly not be so high," although Scarface really wanted to draw a few scars on Chinluo's face. "Think about it, money is more important, hold back." At this time, Chinluo didn't know that they were human traffickers, abducting and selling all kinds of people as slaves. One of the people I hated the most in my previous life was these unconscionable dogs. "Why don't I give you away?" Chinluo's eyes narrowed. "How about sending you all to hell?" Scarface was furious when he heard the words. Even a little brat dared to be so outspoken, and he wouldn't know the sky if he didn't teach him a lesson. "I don't know what to do. Arrest him. Don't beat him to death, don't beat him up." Chinluo sighed. "Not a good person, but a beast. Your luck is so bad that you met me." The silver-white sword light and knife shadow swept across the main area with a dreamy breath of death in the bubble forest under the sun. 12 people, except for the leader's Scarface, were all killed with one stroke. Scar's face was cut off with 2 tendons, and the long knife he was holding fell to the ground. "You're a devil, you're not a human. Don't kill me, don't kill me." Scarface was about to lose his mind from fright. "You must know that they have hunted 50 million pirates before." Unexpectedly, in the hands of this young man, everyone died without seeing it clearly. Chinluo put the knife in the sheath, looked down at the scarred face, and said, "Which pirate group are you under?" Takugi pirates." Scarface nodded hurriedly. Chinluo said with a warm smile, "That's it." Immediately, they took all the berry in their pockets. Scarface looked in his eyes, hid the resentment in his eyes, and asked in horror and a little cautious, "Well, can you let me go?" "I'm sorry, but I can't." Chinluo drew his knife and stabbed it into Scar's heart, looking apologetic. Scar's face was full of eyes, and there was still an unbelievable look in his eyes. "You. Trash like you, living in the world is a waste of fresh air." Chinluo pulled out the autumn water, and the scarred face was immediately breathless. There are countless pirates like Scarface. Chinluo didn't have so much time to spend with him, let alone let him go. "Don't be kidding, that kind of guy who's rotten to the core and doesn't know how many lives he's killed, giving him a whole corpse is a kindness to him. I am still too kind. The most important thing for a group of people is to be neat and tidy." I sent them away neatly. They will definitely be grateful. Chinluo complimented himself for thinking of others. Takugi pirates. Then I'll take you first. Chinluo gently isho, and then went straight to the number 13 mangrove tree. Area 13. At the door of the bar, Chinluo pushed the door directly in. In the bar, Shaki, with short black hair and a middle-aged face, was wearing a brightly colored top and low-waisted jeans, staring out the window in a daze. Judging by the length of the soot on his hand, it was obvious that it had been a while. Yo, such a good-looking little brother is here, so what do the guests need? Seeing Chinluo enter the door, Shaki's eyes lit up. Chinluo sat on the bar and took out the berry that he had just captured from the system space, about 3 million Bailey, and threw it under his feet. Beautiful and discerning lady, just have a beer. Chinluo paused and continued, besides, I need some news. Shaki looked stunned for a moment, then looked at Chinluo carefully, put the cigarette in his mouth, and turned back to put on the beer. Looks like a sweet and funny little guy who knows how to do it. I'll take this beer as my invitation to you. Push the wine in front of Chinluo. He didn't see Rayleigh. That guy Rayleigh hasn't been in the shop most of the time, so it's not unusual to see him. Thank you then. After drinking it all in one breath, Chinluo hiccuped and stretched in relief. The beer is good, so Ms. Shaki, can you tell me about the recent events in the Sabayati Islands? Shaki looked at Chinluo, and he couldn't see clearly. He thought he was a pirate hunter who went out to sea alone, but he didn't look like him because of his age. As well as the faint smell of blood just now, she felt that this good-looking and outrageous little brother in front of her was not so simple. I didn't expect the news to be so simple. Yes, this kind of news can be found out as long as you are willing to take the time to inquire. A breath, Shaki leaned against the bar and said, I am going to disappoint you, little brother. Nothing major happened in Sabayati Archipelago in the last week, but in 2 days, something is going to happen. I wonder if you're interested, little brother. Chinluo was very interested and asked, oh, let's hear it. An important finale item will be auctioned at the auction house in 2 days, and as far as I know, it will be a beautiful mermaid. Shaki smoked and exhaled the smoke. Chinluo looked puzzled. During this time, Luffy had not yet gone to sea, so it should not have been the mermaid Kami being captured. That should be other merman, caught by humans. Ding! Congratulations to the host for triggering the task, saving the mermaid Isoli. The task reward. The character's progress bar is increased by 5%, and the observation hockey has been improved by a grade. There was such a voice in my head. Chinluo's eyes lit up. His current progress bar for Ghost Swordsman is %. After increasing it, it can be 68.5%. I believe that his strength will be greatly enhanced at that time. At the first sight of this task, Chinluo felt that he had to do it. Not only because of the generous rewards, but also because of the mermaid Isoli. This freckled, good-looking beauty, Isoli. The appearance on Mermaid Island can definitely rank in the top 3. That's it. Chinluo nodded slowly, asked Shaki to pour him another glass of wine, and replied with a smile. Shaki passed the bar and got closer to Chinluo, before Shaki said, such a handsome little brother, what should I call you? I haven't asked your name yet, I'm really rude. Chapter 38_. Chinluo, my name is Chinluo. Chinluo, a good name, even a handsome name. Chinluo was a little puzzled. Hey, how good is the name? I don't know. Is there any special meaning? Forget it, you are old, you have the final say. I have been praised many times for being handsome, what else can I do? In fact, from the very beginning, when Chinluo walked into the bar, Shaki felt that he was a little familiar. Clothing identification, as well as the description of the saber, were finally confirmed after many observations. Defeat the mysterious youth of Gecko Moria. As an intelligence officer, she naturally has a drawing about Chinluo's back, and the black knife and autumn water is the most favorable evidence to prove his identity. Then, Xiao Qinluo, here is a suitable news, do you want to listen to it? Cigarette, Shaki put it out in the ashtray on the bar, lit another one, and asked Qinluo. Of course, does that need to be said? Also, what the hell is Xiao Qinluo? If I didn't see you as a beautiful old man, I would have a good reasoning with you. I've measured it myself, and it's not too small at all. Pick up the package under your feet, put it on the counter, and open it. Qinluo looked at Shaki and asked, do you see if these are enough to pay the remuneration? If not, then I have to think of a way. Shaki took a rough look, pulled Bailey out and put it in front of Qinluo, and the others touched the counter casually. Takuki Pirates, Captain, Beast, Takuki, Bounty 95 million Bailey, born in West Blue, said to like eating people's hearts, called, beasts. He is not an ability person, and he likes to use his fighting style. The steel claws on the hands tear people apart, which is also one of the reasons why they are called, the Beast. Quote. The co-captain and the bosun are both powerful characters with a bounty of over 50 million. The reward for the entire ship is 210 million Bailey. The bosun is a capable boatmaker, and the boat has been refitted by him, and the speed is more than 30% faster than ordinary sails. At the moment they are hiding in Mangrove number 9 in the illegal zone, and as far as I know, it will take about 2 days for their ships to be coated. After Shaki finished speaking, he pulled out the Takugi Pirates reward order from under the bar and slapped it in front of Qinluo. He turned around and gave himself a glass of beer, raised his head to drink it, and then sipped another glass. She seemed to have determined that Qinluo was a bounty hunter, a hunter who specialized in crusade against pirates. What do you think, little Qinluo? Shaki stared at Qinluo and asked with a wink. Qinluo ignored Shaki's wink. Just kidding, this is a character at an age who can be a grandma. If I didn't put a small in front of my name, this information would be perfect. Qinluo drank the refilled beer, put the glass back on the table, got up and walked out. So it's done, beautiful auntie. That's right, the aunt is just revenge for Shaki calling him little Qinluo. Not calling your mother-in-law will give you face very much. Qinluo finally hit back a little before he went out, feeling a lot more relaxed. Although you are old, you can't say that I am young. Shaki in the bar watched Qinluo disappear outside the door, and his smile became solemn. As an intelligence queen, her ability to see people and act is definitely not bad. Even if Rayleigh is in her hands, it can be seen. What's more, her observation hockey has reached a very high level. The strength of this young brat surprised even her. Even Gecko Moria with 320 million berries was not his opponent. Is no sword intent on his body, it can even make Shaki feel chills. Such a young monster with such a strong strength will definitely be very eye-catching in the future era. Make a little friendship with yourself, and maybe there will be a good harvest in the future. Take out a piece of white paper from under the bar, write and draw with a pen on the paper, outline Qinluo's outline with just a few strokes, and then a godlike portrait appears. The following line appears. Name, Qinluo. Height, -195 cm. Age, 18 to 20 years old. First appeared in Sabayati Archipelago, suspected bounty hunter. Swordsmanship, strong, world-class swordsman level. Fighting technique, unknown. Hockey, unknown. Ability, unknown. Comprehensive combat power, extremely strong, at least 400 million. The words at the back were blurred, and Shaki kept the paper well. If Qinluo knew that Shaki could infer so many things in such a short time, he probably wouldn't be as happy as when he just went out. Of course, even if you know, it's okay. But at this time, Qinluo was a little troubled. Having truly understood the meaning of this illegal zone, 4 waves of attacks have already been attracted within this short distance of 3 trees. With so many rampant slave traders, it can be seen how rubbish the so-called world nobles in this world are. He simply had never met him before, so he was not bothered by sight. Otherwise, it would be funny if I met one and killed two of them that day. But in general, these pirates who don't know how to live or die have contributed a slight increase to the progress bar of their ghost swordsman. Soon, the 9GR mangrove is already in sight. Below the mangroves is a dilapidated building, not as good as those ordinary areas, not to mention the Marine and World Government residences. It is not difficult to find a group of pirates in a small area. Chinluo did not hesitate to find the Tuogi pirates from the corner of the dilapidated building here. As a pirate group with a bounty of more than 200 million, they have also been targeted by many hyenas these days, and they simply have enough strength to cope. But also lost a lot of grassroots crew. When Chinluo came over, there were no more figures of the slave traders around. It seemed that he knew that this bone was not easy to chew and had already given up. Hey, boy, this is the Tuogi pirates, not a place where you, a kid, should come. Chinluo didn't hide his whereabouts. As soon as he appeared, he was discovered by a few guards and surrounded him in the middle. Tell me why you came here, or don't blame Lao Su for not recognizing people with his sword. The leader of the minions had fierce eyes and asked Chinluo loudly. Chapter 39 _ Looks like the place is right. I'm here to find your captain, Beast, Tuogi. There is a big business to discuss with him. You can't be the master. Chinluo said indifferently. Chinluo's extraordinary temperament obviously proves that he is not a hyena-like trafficker. The leader listened to Chinluo's words, glared at him fiercely, and warned him not to play tricks. Keep an eye on him, and I'll report to the captain. Soon, there was a commotion in the dilapidated building, and a big man with an ugly face and a burly figure led out. The stench of the unknown fur coat draped over the big man made Chinluo unable to help but take a few steps back. Boy, you're the one who asked Lao Su to talk about business. You're a fine-skinned and tender person, and you're not too brave. An even more foul breath made Chinluo regret standing opposite this guy. Take out the reward image and confirm the identity of the person who came. With the three main leaders here, there is no need for him to waste his time with this guy who doesn't know how to maintain personal hygiene. Disappetite guys, kill yourself, I don't want to waste time. When Chinluo took out the bounty, the opposite Tuogi had already reacted and was also ready to do it. Are you a bounty hunter? If you dare to play with me, I will tear you apart. Both sides shot almost at the same time, but their speed was too slow. Don't say that the little guy on the opposite side didn't have time to react. It was Captain Takuki, the guy who offered a reward of 95 million Bailey also didn't react in a hurry. Moving soul flash, sword shadow status. Just as the hands with steel claws had time to reach out, a knife light flashed, and the body leaning forward stopped moving. After Chinluo's figure passed, he simply fell to the ground, and a lot of blood stained the ground scarlet. The vice captain behind him wasn't much better either. They didn't care about such a young kid, and even had this hideous smile on his face. Then, there is no then. The smile was so abruptly frozen on his face. 7 people in front of the building, including Tuogui, all fell to the ground with a bang. Dozens of people watching the excitement pouring out of the building were dumbfounded, and the unmatched captain in their eyes didn't even block a single move. Together with the deputy captain, who offered a reward of over 50 million, he was killed in a second. How powerful is this? Chinluo looked at the bosun, and his face finally calmed down. Do you want to die alive? The bosun swallowed hard, suppressing the panic in his heart. He was originally a boatman who was not particularly good at fighting, so he didn't dare to look at him. Live. Very well, in 3 minutes, all the berries here are collected before my eyes. Chinluo turned to look at a large group of pirates and smiled. This frightened many people, almost urinated their pants. When they murdered, they were vicious pirates, but now they are just lambs to be slaughtered. Yes. Listen to you, my lord. Quote. Soon the berries were stacked up into hills, among them the berry banknotes, and some gemstone jewelry. The number is probably around tens of millions of berries. Chin Luo took it all in. Bounty hunter. Have to snatch wealth fast. After collecting the money, Chin Luo ignored the people who were too scared to move and left alone. They also didn't know if Chin Luo would go back on his word. After using them, he slaughtered them in turn. Seeing Chin Luo leave, he was nowhere to be seen. They breathed a sigh of relief, dripping with cold sweat. What is this? Suddenly, a jet-black blade shadow, full of killing intent, struck instantly. There is no doubt that a 100-meter area around here will be cut. The vicious pirates, none of them survived. Shira evil light / open black lens bracket Ashura close black lens bracket. When Chin Luo met the two women, his face was 3-pointed in surprise, and 7-pointed as expected. Nami and Perona went to the nearby market. The hands are full, not only with precious jewelry, but also with beautiful clothes. These two prodigal mothers. Chin Luo suddenly felt that the money salvaged just now was instantly reduced by one empty space. But Chin Luo didn't think too much about it. Isn't money just used to spend? Put everything in their hands into the system space. The two women seemed to have known Chin Luo's skill for a long time. Chin Luo was ashamed. He didn't want to accompany women shopping to buy clothes. He would suffer so much, so he said, "I'm hungry, let's go eat hot pot." Hot pot. Nami paused, then nodded with a smile. Nami thought that she had eaten it a long time ago. Yuanyang hot pot. Sesame sauce plus fermented bean curd juice plus chili oil plus coriander plus sesame seeds. This dipping sauce is very suitable for eating seafood pot, with fish and shrimp. 60s, delicious. Suck it, delicious. Soon the three of them came to a lively hot pot restaurant. Just this one, Chin Luo said. We walked in together, and in an instant, cool air rushed toward us. It might be a weakened version of Feng Bei, which was stirring the breeze to prevent the interior from being so hot. The waiter shouted, "Welcome," and smirked professionally, "Hello too, do you want to order now?" Yes, Chin Luo nodded. Then what do you want, sir? The waiter took out a small book and prepared to record it. Chin Luo squinted slightly, with an intoxicated look on his face, and said slowly, "Money belly, tofu, squid whiskers, beef balls, kelp knots, marinated pork, hairy belly, tomatoes. Spicy clear soup with mandarin ducks, sour plum soup with lemon slices." After the waiter wrote the dishes, a smile appeared on his face. "Okay, the dishes will be served right away." After the waiter leaves, Perona is curious about the environment of the hot pot restaurant. It is the first time she has eaten hot pot, so she is very curious. 5 minutes later, the ingredients are ready. This hot pot restaurant is quite fast. Chin Luo was very satisfied, nodded, and began to pick up the raw ingredients in front of him with chopsticks, and then put some in the bottom of the non-spicy pot, and some in the bottom of the spicy pot. A few minutes later, a mist of scent hits my face. Brush the easy-to-cook hairy belly, dip it in the prepared sauce, take a bite, and the delicious juice explodes in your mouth. It's really delicious. Chin Luo's eating is in full swing. Compared with Chin Luo's eating, Nami and Perona are extraordinarily elegant. Perona eats deliciously, much better than eating alone before. It seems that following Chin Luo's side is not a painful existence. After 10 minutes, the rest of the ingredients are gradually cooked. The sauce for the beef balls burst out really delicious. The shredded squid is chewy. The hairy belly is also very authentic. The two started a hot pot feast. Chin Luo's appetite is still quite adequate, especially after practicing the thunder armor and forging the constitution. As his physical fitness increased, so did his appetite. After the nutrition of the meal, enter Chin Luo's stomach, and then perform Lei Dun forging to clean up the impurities hidden in the food and convert it into energy to improve physical fitness. Time doesn't stop, it flies by. Every minute and every second that I couldn't pretend to force, I also passed through this hot pot feast sadly. Chapter 40 _ 2 hours later. The three Chinluo also ate and drank one after another. Hiccup tilde. Looking at Nami who paid the money at the front desk, Chinluo thought to himself that a rich life is so simple and unpretentious. ... Come on, let's go for a walk. Chinluo suggested to walk in the direction of the auction to familiarize yourself with the environment in advance, so as not to get lost in time. The two women responded one after another, protecting the Dharma left and right, envy others. Under the gazes of everyone around, the three of them walked towards the auction. This human auction, located in GR1 of the Sabayati Islands, is a concentrated place for slave trading auction, and the objects of trafficking are criminals and nationals of countries that have not joined the world government. While human trafficking is also banned worldwide, the human auction venue appears to have tacit approval from Marine, who calls it a job referral agency. Behind-the-scenes operator is Don Quixote da Flamingo, one of the King Shichibukai. Chinluo was thinking that if he saves the mermaid and destroys it, he will definitely have revenge with Brother Ming. Da Flamingo in pink plush and sunglasses, Chinluo couldn't help but be amused. Conqueror's match. Then I'm still looking forward to it. The three had only walked a few dozen meters away, and a figure was standing in front of them. Fish Man, the whale shark, has windy eyebrows and sideburns, a haircut with ding zufeng, a thick black short beard on his chin, a lightning-like scar on the corner of his left eye, a fat body, and two large teeth on his lower jaw, representing the sun. The pirate's sun logo is located in the center of the chest. Unsurprisingly, this person is Shichibukai, the sea warrior Jinbei. Is something wrong? Jinbei blocking the road, Chinluo was a little surprised. I want to talk to you. Jinbei gate of opening, straight to the point, expresses its meaning directly. Whether it is the high holy place Mariajoy, or the Sabayati archipelago, which hides a lot of filth behind the glamorous, these are the places that Jinbei is more resistant to. But in order to have a good talk with Chinluo, Sabayati archipelago came here. And now, he finally saw Chinluo. After thinking about it again and again, he didn't want to miss the opportunity, so at this time, he stopped Chinluo. Talk. Fishman who could easily identify his identity with just a glance. At first, Chinluo was quite surprised. In other words, it was the first time they met. Why did the other party want to talk to him? Know yourself. But then he immediately thought of the Arlong pirates that he destroyed. If there is a possible intersection with Shichibukai Jinbei, Chinluo can't think of other possibilities except for the Arlong pirates where Arlong belongs. If you're here for the Arlong pirates, there's nothing to talk about between us. After clarifying the reason, Chinluo opened the skylight and spoke eloquently, showing his attitude. Jinbei's eyes moved, and he said sternly, "This old man is indeed here for this matter, but I don't want to say the same thing a second time." Chinluo rudely interrupted Jinbei's words, climbed on the hilt of the knife with his right hand, and said calmly, "If you understand, just get out of the way." ... Jinbei was dumbfounded and squinted at Nami, who looked gloomy. After pondering in his heart, he silently retreated to one side and gave way. Such a move, in the eyes of the group of onlookers around, couldn't help but be surprised. Thinking that Jinbei, who is so senior, seems to have lost his momentum when facing this young man. Seeing Jinbei give way, Chinluo didn't say anything, and walked straight ahead, crossing Jinbei. Nami and Perona followed closely behind, and when they brushed past Jinbei, it was inevitable to give Jinbei one more glance. Fishman with the dual identities of Fishman and Shichibukai in front of him is somewhat beyond their expectations in terms of personality and attitude. Jinbei silently watched Chinluo and several others pass by, and then walked away. After Chinluo walked out a few dozen meters, Jinbei finally couldn't hold back, and shouted to Chinluo's back, "I want to know the reason for your attack on the Arlong pirates." Chinluo couldn't help but stop when he heard the words, he just thought the question was a bit ridiculous. Do you need any reason to take action against a group of scum who only dare to oppress ordinary people? Oh, that's not entirely true, after all. Qin Luo smiled lightly, looked at Jinbei, and said calmly, if Marine hadn't done anything, it wouldn't have been my turn to destroy the Arlong pirates. Jinbei's lips moved, but there was nothing to say. The reason why the Arlong pirates can do evil in East Blue is partly because of Marine's inaction, and partly because of his connivance. Qin Luo looked at Jinbei's undisguised guilt expression, with a dangerous light flashing in his eyes. Of course, I'm not a righteous person, but when I'm short of money, I prefer targets like the Arlong pirates to looting civilian merchant ships. If you think I'm overdoing it, I even want to those scumbags are coming out, so just come. Saying that, Qin Luo strode away regardless of Jinbei's reaction. Jinbei looked at Qin Luo's back as he strode away with a complicated expression. There was silence in the arena. Everyone's eyes were gathered on Qin Luo's departing figure. Who is this young man? Dare to do this to Shichibukai Jinbei? Looking at his behavior, he should be the prince of a certain noble. I don't know who he is, but the two maids by his side are pretty. I'm afraid you're thinking of dying, someone who Jinbei wouldn't dare to provoke. You didn't want to die in the past. 2 days later. At the time of the once-a-month auction at the human auction, the flow of people to the number 1 Tree Island has increased significantly. The streets are especially noisy, with nobles who wear luxurious clothes and like to wear top hats everywhere. They came from the various Tree Islands, no doubt to get the goods of the human auction venue. It can attract so many nobles, and from this, you can also see the card face of the human auction venue on the Sabayati archipelago. What will be the blockbuster this time? Hope is a young and beautiful female fish, hee. If it's a mermaid, I won't give it to you. Haha, the one with the highest price gets it. On the way to the human auction venue, you can always hear similar conversations. The flow of people gradually converged to the human auction venue. There was less than half an hour left before the auction started.